XboxEra podcast is powered by you, and if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as a thank you for your support, you get cool stuff and we get to keep doing what we do. Now let's get into it. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 122 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm Sik and Nick, and I'm joined, as usual, by Special Nick.
What's going on?
Indeed. What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. We're joined not only by you, as per usual, Nick. We've got Joe, aka MrBadBit, from YouTube and Twitter and everything else. He's got his own little community there.
The trophy room.
The trophy room.
Sounds good.
It sounds PlayStation-esque. Like, are you on the right show? Are we in the right place?
I don't know. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, you're always. Everybody's welcome here, and it's good to have you on. And arguably, it's an interesting time to come on. And you're probably the first. I would suggest PlayStation-centric content creator that we were
meant to have another one.
We were. So you're braver than the other one. So it's good to have you, Joe. But thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for having me.
It's
excited
a pleasure
to be here and such.
Well, hey, look, while we're on the opportunity, normally we start off, before we dive into the news of the week, we're talking about what games we've been playing. But before we do that, could you give, our audience, our listeners, because lots of people, yes, we're an Xbox podcast, but we talk about a lot of things across the gaming sphere. Arguably, Nick's a big Nintendo fanboy anyway. So, we're kind of covering all the bases here. So could you tell us a little bit about the trophy room and what you do and share some links and stuff?
Sure. Before I do, Nick, how many Switches are you getting? Yeah, or have? I see you debating the Splatoon one.
I have 3 right now, and I've ordered the Splatoon one that I'm picking up next Friday.
You have a problem.
You are fueling a Nintendo X cabinet, man.
So I jumped on and ordered the I ordered a 256 gig micro SD card for it. Got the Skull and Co. Those cool Skull and Co. grip cases, so that you can actually use, because obviously the Joy-Cons are disgusting to use just for normal people. So those Skull and Co. grips effectively give it more of a feel like a controller. So I've ordered one of those too. So I'm just waiting for that to come next Friday. So my wife gets a hand-me-down Switch, and I get the new OLED one.
Every time I'm like, enough is enough with Nintendo. They'll be like, Metroid, like, here's the OLED. I'm like, all right, fine. And then like Splatoon 3, I can't say no to Splatoon. It's one of the best. It's the best IP Nintendo has. That said, though, my name is Joseph, a.k.a. MrBadBit. I host The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. And just like you guys, I like to have console everything folks on my show. It doesn't matter if you're a PlayStation gamer, PC, primarily Xbox, even Nintendo gamers on, just because it brings a different conversation. We're not those shows that get a little salty about PlayStation or Xbox or anything. We're all about
a little bit insular.
Yeah, we're all about bringing just a different conversation around the ecosystem, and hopefully a more thoughtful conversation around not just PlayStation but games in the community at large. So that's us, the Trophy Room. And for some reason, we are huge in Australia. We are huge in the UK. So hello, blokes.
Oh, wow. That was an admirable British impression.
I will say though, I will get out of the way that I've seen you slander my character on your show before, which I don't appreciate. Yeah.
What character?
I've seen you have a go. I've seen you have a go at me on your show, and I don't.
I have a go at you. I only have a go at two people, and I will tell you off the show. There are only 2 people that I have a go with, and you're not one of them. Don't worry, you're not on
it. It's all right. Even if you did, Nick deserves it.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's totally fair. And look, hey, heads up, people watching, the links for the Trophy Room are in the YouTube description below, so feel free to go check them out, give them a subscribe. And with that, what have we been playing? And hey, Joe, let's start with you. What have you been playing this week, my man? Have you been playing any games?
I am incredibly addicted to Cult of the Lamb. I'm going for the platinum on it. I'm pretty much at the last boss, but I don't know if there's like a you could turn back now, type of thing, where it'll just like end screen you when you're there. So I've been just doing all the trophies that I can. So I'm like trying to defeat every boss without getting hit. That's like my primary focus. But right now, like I'm breaking that game. Like it's begging to be rolled screened because I have way too many followers. I broke the economy. It's not a fun time. Yeah, it's a lot of like I'm trying to literally kill people so that my population is down. Like I'm purposely like, what's a cultist? I can just throw in a pit of like a Cthulhu monster.
They'll probably thank you for it as well.
And they do. They're like, yes, this is great. I love getting the 2 old cultists to fight each other to the death, like a grandpa fight. Like those are and they are all cheering. They're all cheering for these 2 old guys beating each other with canes. But been playing a lot of that. Enjoying my time with it so far. I think it's probably my top, like it's on the top 3 games this year for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
And I'm not like a big indie guy, but it is winning me over. It really is.
Probably put that on silent. Apologies for the random noise description. Honestly, what am I? Not some kind of professional.
Is that your phone? Is that your phone?
Yeah, I have special alerts for work emails, and I forgot to turn
those
mate.
off. It's 11 o'clock at night. There's
a lot of work stuff going on right now. It's been a very busy week, but I haven't actually had a chance to try Cult of the Lamb yet. I have been.
It's a real good fun time.
Yeah, I watched Jesse's review of it, and I think, what did you give it? 9.6 out of 10, Jesse?
Really?
Yes. It's my second best game of the year.
And
If you like Mario Odyssey as the only 10 in the history of games,
It is. Super Mario Odyssey is the only deserving 10 out of 10 in the last decade.
I got bored shitless playing it.
Once you're outside of New Donk City, well, I'll bring it back to Xbox because I've been playing also a whole lot of Sea of Thieves, which is
really
Nick's
yeah, man.
least favorite Xbox game.
Yes,
it's like my favorite one.
The worst games.
It's not.
No,
you're starting to now comprehend, Joe, Nick's litany of bad takes and terrible ideas. You can imagine what
usually
this is like 3 years.
Yeah. I keep saying I could see myself getting into Sea of Thieves if it had decent combat. It's just not good.
I would argue the nautical combat is incredible and is the best.
I'm talking the on foot.
Yeah, but that's not
shooting,
the focus.
gunplay, sword combat.
It's right now. It's very broken because they're doing like shoddy sniper combos, and I don't know how these kids are getting their sniper like
they're on PC. That's the answer.
Well, that's the thing. We turned crossplay off in that game. If you're playing with a controller, God help you. You just can't. But I've been playing a ton of Sea of Thieves, and we're excellent Reapers. I'm trying to get to level 20 in my Athena run.
On the way. I'll see you there. Yeah.
John's massive into Sea of Thieves.
You're talking to a legend before it got easy moded. You know, like I was a legend before the big update in the what's it called, when all the fog came, the anniversary update. I was pirate legend just before that.
Okay.
We did it in the days where you could only carry 100 cannon and 100 wood, and if you beat someone at a fort, they'd spawn in distance in the island next to you, and you'd have nothing, and you'd have to throw bad language at them.
See, that's the only thing about Sea of Thieves I hate is the griefing. Like there are times where you'll sink a ship 3, 4, 5 times. They keep on coming back because they're like, listen, it's only a matter of time till you run out of cannonballs. That's
part of the joy. I mean, we did a community night, and I'd love to do it again, to be honest with you, where we challenged our community to jump on and fight me and my crew. And I think we sunk 9 brigantines or something like that before the server eventually took us down. And it was only because we'd run out of everything. We did take out 2 ships by firing people across, killing their crew, and then crashing them into islands. But
that's my thing when I'm playing Sea of Thieves. I let my friend Luke captain the ship, and I'm always the one that shoots myself onto other ships.
Yes,
like I have a beautiful shot on Twitter. So at MrBadBit, follow me. It's like one of my recent posts, and it is chef's kiss. It's a good boarding.
I caught a clip like that. I was on the volcano islands, and we'd been ambushed, and my crew had all been killed, and the volcano was going off, and the ship was like full, and everyone was like, "We're dead!" And I was on the island, and I literally found a cannon, shot, landed on the deck with bucket in hand, and literally saved the ship with like a second to go, and it was just like, oh, epic.
See, that's why Sea of Thieves is so great. But then there's times where you just get duked on for
Ganked.
It just hurts. It's like Sea of Thieves gives and it takes so much.
I would say, and I can't say too much, but I read and I heard some things. Gamescom should be interesting.
Sea of Thieves 2? Confirmed?
No. This is a games as a service land now. You guys must be getting used to this. Come on.
Come on, mate. You're going to learn. You're about to learn how this works. There's no more sequels. Sequels are gone now.
Remasters, remakes, and games as a service.
There's not going to be Horizon Zero Dawn 3. There'll be like a Horizon platform that they'll keep introducing new robots. And
isn't it about time for a Horizon Zero Dawn remake?
It's about time. Some would say.
Yeah. Hey, now, in terms of what we've been playing, I've been stuck in doing a thing. Don't talk about it. But I just finished my first thing on the thing, and I literally, the reason I was a bit late turning up to the studio here, just doing a test on a thing with the thing. Very cool. Nick, what about you? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I was trying to think if I've been playing anything new. Nothing new, but I've been trying to get back to Multiverses because that's a surprisingly good game. Like I want to call it a Smash clone, which it is, but I feel like it's better than Smash. Like it actually, it feels better to actually the fighting system is actually better than Smash. Part of the reason I couldn't get into Smash Brothers properly is because to me it just feels random and a bit too button mashy, where Multiverses feels a little more like a fighting game than Smash does. So I quite like Multiverses. I plowed back into Fortnite because I had to get Darth Vader before the Battle Pass ended. The Battle Pass ends in just under a month, so I wanted to make sure I got Vader. What else? Rocket League, stock standard. Jump back into Halo for the first time in like a month.
To get that gold skin?
No, just to progress, because I was only like level 34 in the Battle Pass.
Oh, man.
So I thought, I haven't touched it in that long. So I just chucked double XP on, started going through some events, and like, bang, I was like level 40 within, 3 or 4 matches. The double XP helps a lot, but
yeah,
that's about it. I mean, Halo still feels great to play. So
it needs some. I mean,
It's unfortunate the state it's in.
That's the thing. The state it's in is it just needs more of everything. But they need to do some big QOL updates to the base game, like stuff like servers and
that's coming, isn't it?
Skins. Yeah.
That's coming, isn't it? They're going to have server selection, like as in region selection.
I have no idea. I can't remember.
No, I read that there's supposed to be region
they've
selection
started
coming.
Working on it. This month's drop pod was laying the groundwork for getting that stuff in game,
which is great. And I noticed, because it's been so long since I've played it, that while I was in a match, I could check the challenges, which is good.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that before, so now I can see
that
the
was
challenges.
also added this month.
Yeah, so I thought that was nice. Little things like that are nice.
It's just getting time to get it all to where it needs to be. So, I've maxed out the battle pass, but I'll be
Give
on
them
Halo
an inch,
all
they take a
next
mile.
weekend. Games as a service.
Out.
This is the life we live now. We wait for things. We wait for games to be great in a couple of years when they've been out for a while,
Right.
and then
Epic has that stuff on lock. Like
Yeah.
They really do.
They have mastered the art of the live service game between Fortnite, Rocket League, and now Fall Guys. I'm interested to see how Rumbleversus goes. Rumbleverse. Sorry, Multiverses, Rumbleverse. Because I played it and it was okay, but I don't know if it'll have that life and that popularity that the other 3 Epic published games have.
Is that one Epic published?
Yes.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Made by Iron Galaxy.
Yeah.
So I did expect the fighting to feel a little bit better, given these are the guys that did 2 seasons of Killer Instinct. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that has the same level of success, even long term, that Fall Guys, Rocket League, and I mean, nothing's going to get near Fortnite, obviously. But even Rocket League or Fall Guys, if it can have that kind of success, I'd say they'd be happy with that.
I'm sure they would be. But I still argue you keep pumping out games as a service. What, you want them all to stay alive? There's only so many games I can play.
I know.
But
they all feel a very different niche.
Yeah, I feel like the industry is going to hit a point where they're not fulfilling what they thought they would fulfill. Like, I say a lot on the trophy room, PlayStation has 10 live service games in the works. How many of them do they expect to actually live? I don't think all 10. That'd be very bullish. No, I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2. And that's me trying to be optimistic. So when it comes to Halo, that's why I love Halo. Halo's one of my favorite games of all time. I get so nervous about it. Because this year you have Call of Duty, you got Warzone 2. That seems like if that hits all where it's supposed to, it's going to do really well for them. And seeing where Halo's at, I love what I've seen from Forge and what I've heard about Forge. But amazing. What's the other thing? Like the maps, the weapons, all that stuff. That's what's going to get the mainstream back into.
It will be
that battle royale out to Tanka.
I don't even think it. I think it will be the stuff that needs to be like that's more core, like infection and silly action sacks type stuff. That's the stuff that a lot of people love playing for. But I'd be very curious to see if there is a battle royale, how it lands, what it's going to look like. The big concern is
I'm looking forward.
Which game do they want to keep alive? Like you can slap this battle royale mode under the banner of Halo Infinite and then say, yeah, we've got X number of players. But if 95% of them are all playing battle royale, your arena modes and everything else are going to feel a little bit left out in the cold.
So it's a mode.
Yeah, it's a mode, but
they just want people playing Halo, man. They don't care which modes they're in. They just want people playing it.
From the people that really love Halo, they probably want to enjoy some 4v4 and some BTB and maybe
the modes are there, they can play them.
It's kind of like Fortnite.
But you're not how many people play Fortnite for the survival?
Save the world.
Do you know what I mean? Right, so that's the risk. You risk alienating a population, I guess. But we'll see what happens. It's interesting times across the world for all games development, and it's definitely been an interesting week in terms of news. Some dramas, to say the least.
I was worried there'd be nothing to talk about. Like I was building the show notes throughout the week, like scrounging for stuff. Like, oh god, what are we going to talk about? And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of stuff went down. It's like, okay, we're not going to have that much of a problem.
So let's because we spoke a little bit about Cult of the Lamb. I'm looking at the show notes. I'm doing things in a different order. I'm going rogue.
Has Jesse got the video ready?
Has it?
We have a video.
Oh, okay.
If we're talking about Cult of the Lamb, then we have a video. So,
go on, yeah.
Cult of the Lamb has been a topic of discussion this week, thanks to Gary Witter.
Yeah. What did he say? Is that what the video is?
Should we play the video and see what he said?
Yeah, I haven't heard it, so I'm going to watch live.
Okay, watch live.
On Game Pass, because Game Pass has created this terrible, like the dark side of Game Pass has created this kind of entitlement mentality where we're so used to like all the games we want being on Game Pass, and when one falls outside of that, and you're like, wait, I've got to go to the store and fucking buy this. Fuck is that? Like you're not used to it because we're so spoiled by Game Pass. And when I was like, I went to Game Pass, going, oh, Cult of the Lamb, I hear it's good, I want to play it. Let's see if it's on Game Pass. And it's not. I was like, oh, I got to go buy it, which I was happy to do. But still, you have that little moment of like, oh, it's not on Game Pass because Game Pass is becoming the norm. Somebody told me that part of the reason why it's not on Game Pass is Sony paid them not to put it on Game Pass, as they will incentivize you to not do any additional subscriber deals or whatever with competing platforms, because they know that if it's on Game Pass, again, if you've got both platforms, and I think probably most people don't, right? But for the people that do, if you've got to make a choice between, this is why the Activision Call of Duty deal is such a big deal, right? Even if it's going to continue to be on PlayStation, if you've got both consoles and you've got a choice between paying $70 for it on PlayStation or getting it essentially for free as part of the Game Pass subscription you've already paid for, no brainer.
So
wow,
that clip caused a bit of a furor when it first was seen, to the point where the developers had to come out and debunk it, basically. Be like, well, no, they didn't pay to block it from Game Pass.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, apparently people think that he got that from a random Twitter reply. So he put something out about Cult of the Lamb on Twitter, and just some random person on Twitter replied saying, oh, and Sony paid to keep it off Game Pass.
And he just took it as gospel? Or?
Well, that's what they're putting two and two together. They're assuming that that's where that came from.
But there you go. Not true. Denied by the developer.
Yes, it's been denied. That's not to say Sony's never done. I mean, we spoke about this last week. In their marketing deals, it's pretty certain that they will ask for stuff not to go to Game Pass. But there hasn't ever been any definitive proof any kind of proof that they have blocked Game Pass releases outside of marketing deals.
Yeah,
outside of marketing deals. And I mean,
that would be an odd one.
If they haven't had the ability to stop stuff like MLB and Death Stranding coming to Game Pass, it would be funny if they had the ability to stop other stuff coming, like third party.
We really got to stop this little indie game from. Yeah.
It's like You know what I mean? Like, it would be an odd thing that they could stop a little indie from coming to Game Pass, but not Death Stranding or MLB The Show. That would be a little bit odd. So,
I saw in the news as well, another developer was quoted as saying that Microsoft paid nearly $600,000 for Cooking Simulator to come to PC or to come to Game Pass in some capacity. So Microsoft are definitely out there making deals, but yeah, Gary Whitta either taken out of context or just misspoke there.
I think, Gary, the thing is, and we've discovered it on this show before, that sometimes you'll just say stuff not realizing who you're talking to, and then
the clickbait world want to make a news story
and
out of
then you
this.
say stuff in passing, and all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more, takes on a life of its own. Like, you could tell in the way Gary was talking, he was just kind of talking offhand. He wasn't being, I heard, or the rumor is. It was just like this offhand thing that he was saying in his mind, probably, not realizing that he's Gary Whitta. Like, he's not like he's some rando. Gary Whitta's not some rando. He writes Hollywood movies. He's someone. So we talk about this. Some voices have weight.
Yeah.
He has now discovered that his voices is one of those voices that has weight. And he will probably have to think a little bit more before he says offhand stuff.
Yeah.
Because it can get you in big trouble.
And that's just like, and to go on the whole exclusive stuff, this is how the industry is evolving, right? Like, you do have PlayStation going out making marketing deals going, hey, listen, if we're going to pay for your marketing of this game, it cannot go on other streaming service until X date. And then you'll have Microsoft going, hey, we will pay $600,000 for Cooking Simulator.
This is the time.
Exactly. It's a great time if you're like a small indie or a creative and you're getting poached by, Game Pass with some lucrative, just think about it. What an indie dev usually would make on a game, and then you're getting approached by a major corporation going, here's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is a sure bet versus maybe a few thousand. It's a wild time to be an indie.
And I'm pretty confident that $600,000, that's at the low end.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's at the low end, even for the indies. Like, don't worry. Right now, if you're an indie especially, right now is the time to try and get onto Game Pass. While Microsoft has it in growth mode and they're just throwing money at it, this is the time to do it, because you can set yourself up and your studio up for the next couple of games, probably.
Why not?
Yeah. Just... they get good money. Don't worry about that.
So there's been a lot of news, and Joe, this is going to certainly be in your wheelhouse, right? Sony's been in the news a lot this week.
Is Jim Ryan's cats okay?
Yeah,
Which
I
one?
think so. Fingers crossed. Just updates on Jim Ryan's feline antics.
Come on, mittens, pull through.
There's been lots of things. So I believe a Sony PC-centric website has launched. Now, I know on this show, Nick, you have alluded that you'd heard Sony had been working on their own PC store launcher.
I went back and had a look. The episode was about 6 months ago when we had Diana on. And I couldn't remember if it was something we had spoken about before, but yeah, I had been told they were doing a PC launcher. When that is, I don't know. My assumption is that they probably want to get more of their games on PC before they do it. Like, what would be the point in launching it now? And how many games have they got on PC now? A handful?
Like 4 or 5, right? 6.
Yeah. Probably no point having a PC launcher right now. They probably want to beef that number up before they officially launch it. So this is just speculation. Now, I would expect it probably next year. I don't think it would happen this year. If anything, it would happen next year. Because by mid-next year, they should have a ton of PC games, shouldn't they? Especially depending on how far back they want to go into their back catalogue of games.
Well, I think
that's... on PC, for the love of God, yeah.
That's the question. And there'll be deals that they'll do, much like Steam does, much like Microsoft does for their store. They'll just pull in a lot of third-party stuff as part of a launcher.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%. It won't just be Sony games. 100%. It'll be they'll try and broaden it out.
Nah, I don't think I disagree.
Really, people will want to install, I guess, the premium attitude, but like,
but
what's
hold
the
on
point
a second.
of building
It's not about premium. No. It's not about premium. As far as I'm aware, they are trying to get cross-buy in there, cross-save in there. You're not doing that with third parties. You're doing that with your own. So if the focus is on their own stuff, then the benefit of getting a PlayStation game on the PlayStation launcher is that your save file from the PS5 will just be there. You buy it on PS5 and it's there on PC. That's the benefit of getting it as part of the PlayStation launcher. Like, if you only have a gaming PC and then Sony turns around and says, well, if you buy, I don't know, what's Spider-Man 2 on PC, let's because remember, this is also contingent probably on them eventually going day one on PC. But let's just live in a hypothetical world where next year they start doing day one on PC. And Spider-Man 2 comes out and they say, okay, if you buy Spider-Man 2 on PC, guess what? It's cross-buy. So you'll also have it on PlayStation 5. Then that PC player might turn around and go, oh, well, maybe I get a PlayStation as a console and have it in this room. So, my save is just there. That's what we all do with Xbox.
Yeah.
And it's great. That's what you want. We want a proper ecosystem. That's what we want Sony doing. A real, genuine, proper ecosystem. We've been saying it for ages. Like, people get upset. I see people get upset on Twitter, but this is all a good thing. This is good stuff. Like, I love Play Anywhere. Play Anywhere's awesome. It's cool. That
I have to admit, as a PC owner, I dive in. I'll play a bit on PC. I'll nip across to the lounge, and it is nice that everything is just
there.
It just works. Sea of Thieves in particular, there's times when I want to play. I've got an ultra-wide monitor, right? So, but then after a while, we started to realise, oh no, PC players, I am not, a CSGO player. I'm not proficient with the mouse and keyboard. I'll play with pad on PC, but you can't help who you're matched against. So it was like, okay, now quick back to the console. And as soon as the 4K 60 updates came out for Sea of Thieves, we dotted between the two depending upon who we were playing with, and that's a wonderful thing that just works. I mean, Joe, you're a big PlayStation fan. You have a PC as well. Presumably, you're using it right now to sit on this show. Do you see a world where you would look to play day one PlayStation releases at possibly higher fidelity and higher resolutions, etc., on PC rather than on your PS5?
Probably not for me, because I'm not a mouse and keyboard guy at all. And I there is just that allure of a couch and a controller and I got this beautiful LG was it C1.
I've got a CX.
But this is something that we've been preaching on the trophy room for years now, that this is gonna happen. It was bound to, because if you're Sony, you're taking a look at your marketplace and you're like, okay, if we do really good in the market, we sell about 120 million PlayStations, and that's who we can sell to. Or, when we take a look at how our, development costs is going up and up and up, we can then open ourselves to even more hundreds of million folks by just going on PC. So it just made economic sense for PlayStation to go and jump on this. And I think it took Microsoft to make that leap of faith, back in 2016, 2017 with Sea of Thieves and all that. So I think Sony's taking a look at the market just like every other publisher right now is, when you have even Capcom going, we're going to focus primarily on PC. And they're going, okay, I think this is where the market is starting to lean. So let's get there before it's too late. This is an awesome thing that's happening, and I think Nick, I think you're right in where I think it's going to be more of an integrated app within an app. You're going to still be buying, Spider-Man 2 on Steam or Epic, but you're going to probably have to have that Uplay login when you go and play your PlayStation game. But I do expect in the 2 to 3 years, once Nixus gets caught up to track with everything, you're going to see more and more Sony games eventually be day and date. And before people like MBG jump off a cliff about that, it's only good. More people get to play God of War means more people get to enjoy the thing you love. So
absolutely.
This is awesome. And you know what? If like there's some way I could get it on my Steam Deck, that's how I'll play it. God, give me Ghost of Tsushima on a Steam Deck too.
And that's the thing. We've said this here say years, not years, but we've said this here for a long time. There isn't this swathe of people who are just itching to ditch their console to go and spend thousands on a PC that can run these games properly. And that's where I think a lot of this angst and fear comes from. Like, people just are worried that all of a sudden Sony's console sales are going to tank, and that's not going to be a thing. Like Xbox sales didn't tank just because they released their games on PC. I didn't sell my Xbox. If anything, I went and bought a Surface so I could play some smaller games on a PC on the go or whatever. Like, it's just Xbox console sales are better than they've been for a long time.
And I think I think it just, again, people they care too much about the unit per sale thing. They'll be they'll pull up the VG chart and like, here's look how great. I don't care about any of that stuff. You're right, Nick. Like, Xbox is in the best that they've ever been right now. Their games are on PC. No one's ditching an Xbox for it. Xbox is doing better than they have in a very long time, which is great. Yeah, just giving people more options is always a great thing. And the PC audience, to me, isn't a one-for-one for the console audience. Because for me, I'm not a tinkerer. I don't care if my thing's at the max fidelity. All that type of stuff, where I take a look at some of my PC friends and they're like, yeah, I got like a Nintendo Switch for Mario Kart and then everything else is here. So you want to probably reach that person to get them into your library.
Yeah.
Into your ecosystem. Whatever gets a foot in that door, because you don't know. Eventually something might trigger and they might go, bugger it, I'll buy a PlayStation as well. Because I want to be able to play these cool games that I've just started buying in my bedroom.
Yep.
So I'll buy a PlayStation for in there.
Arguably as well, Microsoft, the fact that they are doing the best they've ever done, I would say they've got a clear vision. They've got the teams now. The games are coming. Yes, it's a very dry 2022, but even in spite of all that, like, I've still got plenty to play, so I'm not sitting out here crying for a lack of games. There's loads that has come out and surprised and delighted me over the last sort of 9 months or 8 months or whatever the case may be. But the good thing about a very competitive, very eager Microsoft is it forces the market leader to compete a little bit more, not rest on its laurels so much. And I think we're seeing the beginning of that journey, certainly over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, of a Sony going, oh, okay.
We say force. Anyone who watches this show will know I've defended Jim Ryan a little bit on this one. I think Jim has wanted to do this for a while, and he's been getting pushback from various angles. I personally, he comes across as the sort of dude that is a bit more business than... I mean, he knows how to play up the console wars too, don't get me wrong. But he's very, very business oriented and has probably wanted this. And if it was, I wouldn't be surprised if it was completely up to him. He'd already be doing the day and date, all that sort of stuff, if it was completely up to him.
Yeah.
There's too much money to be made. And we've actually got a super chat about this too.
Their fan base as well, though. They're very,
and they are, and they have to be. That's the problem. They've already had bomb threats. We have a super chat. Alvin, Sony want 300 million from PC this fiscal year as opposed to 80 million last year. Yet Spidey isn't selling better than God of War did. What must they do for that 300 million? Assuming that's the case, because I haven't looked at the numbers, but assuming that's the case, I mean, if they want more, then maybe don't just release 3 and 4 year old games on PC. Maybe shorten that
excited
time frame. Maybe go 6 months, maybe go 3 months, a year, whatever the case may be. Again, we've always said baby steps. Sony's not going to do the day one straight away. People forget Game Pass didn't have first party games there. The second Game Pass was a thing in 2017. It took a little bit for that to happen. Sony will do it too, just not yet. They're just going to ease into it slowly.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it shows a couple of things. Like God of War, pretty darn popular if it's able to still keep the throne from Spider-Man. But also Spider-Man almost it was like a close race. It lost by a couple thousand. So like to me, if I'm Sony and I want to sell more of them, yeah, I mean we got Miles Morales rumor around the corner, right? Or them saying it's in fall. So you're gonna get a couple more of these games. I mean, what have we seen so far? Returnal and Sackboy are on those NVIDIA leaks. We've even seen the Steam page. So you're
the
gonna get
Uncharted collection. That's the other announced thing.
There you go. Last of Us as well. So you got a lot of games right there. Whatever we don't know in between, that's how they're going to get, I think, to that 300 million for sure.
Yeah, I see them doing it. That's a pretty comfortable number to reach.
The newer the releases, like the shorter the gap between the game coming out on PlayStation and then coming out on PC, the better it's going to do on PC. I think.
Yeah.
They just need to close that gap a little bit. Because right now we're still ultimately getting old games on PC, which is fine. But they just need to tighten that gap a little bit more, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Yep. And look, hey, speaking of Sony games on PC, here's the thing I didn't think I would see happening.
No.
Let's rewind a couple of days to the PC Game Pass Twitter account having a bit of a troll and just innocently changing their profile image to PC Game Pass with the background of some wet, moss-covered rocks and cliffs. And a few eagle-eyed internet users said, hang on a second.
Looks like Death
That's
Stranding.
from Death Stranding. And thus the argument that lasted around 24 hours was born of lots of people going, no way, it's IP owned by Sony. It's never going to happen. Well, it did. Death Stranding is coming to get Xbox Game Pass for PC.
Isn't it already out?
No,
it's not out yet.
23rd. 23rd.
Oh, right. Okay. God, there's a lot happening next week. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a surprise because this is a game Sony completely funded, completely paid for, but was published on PC by 505 Games.
Which is that was always going to be the loophole, wasn't it?
And clearly 505 were like, yeah, well, okay, we can publish it on PC. Like, I think it's fair to say this is never going to come to your console, Xbox fans.
It will not.
But
not without a workaround.
My goodness,
as Tom Henderson showed.
I mean, the people that treat exclusives like I would probably have a similar reaction if I saw like a Gears of War come to PlayStation. I'd be like, what?
God bless.
But yeah, how did you feel that your community and perhaps PlayStation community in general, if we can allow you to speak for them in some capacity, how do you think the reaction was? Do you think it was fair? Do you think it was quite genuine surprise?
It was an overreaction.
So I'll talk about the PlayStation Twitter community. Some of them need antidepressants. Some of them need therapy, counseling even. The Twitter spaces are always just something that I peek at and I'm like, what's the title of this thing?
Oh God.
Okay, that's enough for me. But I love how the fanboy community took this because PlayStation fanboys was like, oh, Xbox, you need a game, so here's our little walking simulator.
Oh, wow.
Well, rewind like 2-3 years ago when that game came out, we're like, y'all don't understand. This isn't more than just walking. These are each individual step, you son of a gun. Where like then you got like the Xbox diehard community or whatever we're gonna call them, and they're just like, oh my God, all of a sudden this game might be my game of the year. So you get the overreactions from both sides. But for me, I can only speak to myself. This is great. Because this is for me, my first Kojima game. I never understood the appeal.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Listen,
you never played Metal Gear Solid?
I watched my brother play Metal Gear Solid a lot. But I finally...
Really? You never played Metal Gear Solid?
I know. I'm a fake fan.
I've never
and listen, when was it?
Really?
Sons of Liberty came out, I was 4 years old. So yeah, I'm a young.
Oh wow, you're that young. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Exactly. I know. I'm sorry. I know you're.
Hold on. How old are you?
Grave right now. 30. Had to think about that for a second.
Almost a decade younger than me. Definitely a decade younger than you.
And over a decade younger than me. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But I'm trying to get back in because for me, this was my first Kojima joint, and I loved it. I loved how weird it was.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I did. But of course, it was up its own ass because it's Kojima. But like towards the end, I'm like, okay, Kojima, time. Don't give me fake credits. I get it. He's blue. But no, I really enjoyed myself with it. So knowing that this game didn't do what I think PlayStation wanted it to do, and now it's out on PC, now it's out on Game Pass, I think the Game Pass community is going to have a really big positive effect on this game in terms of like how, you know, buildings are structured, roads and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that aspect because some games are like, I hate using the word, but like this is a Game Pass game. This is a game you definitely want to try out, and if you love it, I think that's the community that's gonna build off that love. So I'm excited about this, and I bet my community, the trophy room community, also very positive about it. But when you take a look at that social media, you take a look at those Twitter spaces,
horrible stuff.
You get people like zooming in, going, "Is Spider-Man next?" You know,
no,
all that.
Isn't that just the logo that's in the game anyway? That spider.
Yeah.
Okay, it just happens to look like Spider-Man's logo.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people leaping on to Spider-Man 2's gonna like because obviously we've got the Disney Marvel showcase coming up.
Yes,
and you know if I guess people are putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, right? They're seeing Sony being forced to release games here and there and everywhere. Well, what if Insomniac, Marvel have turned around and said, yeah, we kind of want this to be multi-platform like MLB. We kind of want this to be da-da-da-da.
Well, that is technically possible only because Disney and Marvel own that ultimately.
Yeah.
But it would depend on the deal they signed. I'd be surprised if they just broke the deal.
Sony has all the leverage on Spider-Man, and they use it.
At the movies.
Yes, because of their movie leverage, very much you can tell Marvel wants to keep using Spider-Man in the movies. They're going to do what Sony wants and not piss them off.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I get as well. But I do think like one day eventually Spider-Man, you'll see a multi-plat, like you'll see him on the Xbox. I'm positive about it. One day.
Yeah, is that when Sony goes out of business? Or?
Yeah, when Jim Ryan and his cats hang up the sign, they go, we're closed.
Man, did you see some of the replies, though? Did you see some of the replies to Kojima on Twitter? Calling him a traitor, and there was one guy who made a video saying maybe I need to just bomb Sony headquarters to stop all these PC ports.
Really?
Yeah, and there were people like tagging the FBI, like, guys, you may just want to have a look in this direction because this
when
guy
you're done
is
with Mar-a-Lago, this needs a look. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's full on. Just come on.
What was the first thing that we saw? Like some dude break his desk over, and all you saw on Twitter was like he was just heavy breathing and like crying. He's like, I can't believe Sony betrayed me. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. But Joe, you have to play Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 1 is great. I mean, 1 is tough now because it's a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
And the problem is the best version of Metal Gear Solid 1 is on GameCube, which is Twin Snakes. And I know that I am alone in that opinion. But Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes is Metal Gear Solid 1, but with Metal Gear Solid 2's gameplay and visuals, and Metal Gear Solid 2 was also amazing. Metal Gear Solid 3 I personally didn't like. It is widely considered the best one, I will admit that much. I personally didn't like it. Snake Eater. You have to eat animals and stuff to get your life back, and it's just I didn't like it. Metal Gear Solid 4 I loved. But my problem with Metal Gear Solid 4 is the same problem I have with The Order, 1886. It's trying to be a movie. And when it's not trying to be a movie, it's actually an amazing game. The game itself, the gameplay, all that sort of stuff is fantastic.
It keeps getting in its own way.
But it keeps getting in the way trying to be a movie, just like The Order did.
Yeah.
But Metal Gear Solid 4 is great. I noticed you have the disc there. That's going to be a problem because... What? So do you still have your PS3?
I got it right here. Yeah.
Okay, good. Sick. I've got 2 of them. I ended up getting Metal Gear Solid 4 digitally on PS3. because on disc it keeps doing these massive installs off the Blu-ray, and you get literal 10-15 minute interruptions in between your game, and it's so draining. Like, that's why I thought if I've got a digital, that should eliminate, theoretically. I haven't played it since I got it digitally, but I bought it digitally for that reason. But Metal Gear Solid 4 is an awesome game. If there was some way to trim down, I think there's literally hours worth of cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 4. Like literally hours, like possibly 3 or 4 hours.
One of them is over 90 minutes long, just one cutscene.
Yeah, one of them is like an hour or more long. It's just like insane with Metal Gear Solid 4. But when it lets you play the game and take control and actually play, awesome.
See, that's the thing that always turned me off of Metal Gear was like the cutscenes. Yeah, like 90 minutes of me not touching a controller, that's asking a whole lot of me. Because now you're like relaxed, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, okay.
Oh
like,
yeah, gotta play.
Exactly. So you got you gotta configure your brain. But yeah, no, that's a series I've been wanting to. It's part of like the pile of shame. Like I have games I've never played before. I've heard so many good things. So it's like that and like Half-Life. Half-Life's a game I've never played.
Okay.
Again, watched my brother play them, and I'm like, I think one day.
How old's your brother?
He's 30, 38, 39.
Oh, wow. So he's younger than me, too. Oh, God.
I'm sorry. It's all right.
So
it's okay.
It's good to
you got life insurance.
He's old
good.
and past it.
I'm so old. Okay.
Although I was chatting to a friend of mine about podcasts and XboxEra and how great we're doing and everything else, and how many people have hit the like button. Only 56. What the hell is going on? There's 170 plus people watching. Come on now. Hit that like button, please. But I was explaining and I was saying, oh God, I feel old, I'm grey and all this sort of thing. And they're like, yeah, your co-host is quite young. I was like, he's older than me. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, it's the Melbourneian sun or something,
It's
like,
the Mediterranean genetics.
I called you some horrible things, Nick. I'm really sorry, but yeah, it's one of those things. Getting old.
The Greek genes.
Damn those Greek genes. Where's that Greek flag? Seriously though, hit that like button, please, you lovely lot. So yeah, big changes afoot, and definitely a big surprise. I have to admit, it supports ultra wide, and I love looking at games in ultra wide. And hell, I'll give it a download. I don't care how many gigs it is. I haven't got a data cap. I'll try it out. And maybe Joe, you're right. That is the perfect kind of game to get people go. I've heard so many things about this from people that say it's incredible, and people say that it's like, what? It's an Amazon delivery service game. I'm going to find out for myself. I'm going to download it, and I'm going to have a go and see what I think. And
also, in like the post COVID world, it is still like crazy how much he got right.
Wow.
About like us being so secluded from one another and how that would
hey Joe,
make us. Yeah.
Just wanted to say, so you said you haven't played Metal Gear yet. I may have got an interesting little DM just then. I'd maybe wait to play Metal Gear. Just wait.
See, here's the thing, but Blue Point worker magic. But until then, I feel like I just got to just to see it. Just to
maybe just wait.
Like a month.
There's no time frame here.
Because there's also the problem of like I'm trying to force myself. I'm trying to force myself to play older games because I'm usually like it's new and this means better. And so like I bought a PS3 again, and then I held the dual.
Oh really? The DualShock 3 is a disgraceful controller. It is a disgraceful controller.
We've come such a long way, guys. You don't understand.
Yeah, but so many people defended that controller back then, and I'm like, man, it's not a good controller. I know you feel the need to like stand up for it, but it's not a good controller.
Sony should have believed in the cool, boomerang.
The boomerang, that probably would have been more comfortable. We're closer to the boomerang now than we ever have been.
And like the concave triggers, who thought of this?
Oh God, it's just. I remember fighting with people, and the problem is that the assumption's always going to be, well, you prefer Xbox. Of course, you're going to say the 360 controller's better. It's like, nah, man, the 360 controller is just better than the DualShock 3. It's just a better controller.
We get it. The battery pack is too large, but even then, my hands fit. They don't cramp. They're not sliding off the triggers.
My God.
Basic ergonomics. Like they.
Yes.
Come on. What controller had it? What did?
Look, I understand Sony's thinking. Don't get me wrong. I've always said this. I understand their thinking. They were making the Super Nintendo PlayStation, which means you were using a SNES pad. So all Sony knew at the time as far as controllers were going was the SNES pad. That's what they were working with. Yeah. But then they very quickly had to pivot once Nintendo screwed them over, and they had to come up with their own controller. So what did they do? They took the SNES pad and chucked some handles on it. That's, if you have a look at the original PlayStation controller, it's just the SNES pad with handles.
Yeah, it is.
But then the PlayStation took off. The first PlayStation was a smash hit, sold 100 million consoles or more. And in Sony's mind, they're like, well, hold on, we have this super popular console with this super popular controller design. We don't want to deviate too far away and piss people off and alienate people. So I understand the thinking. The problem was, ergonomically, it was a mess. And it was just a disaster of a controller. Just, oh my God.
Sorry, I had to touch my DualSense just to feel correct.
Oh, the DualSense is easily the best controller Sony has made. By an absolute mile. I mean, yes, there's minor... I have minor grievances with it. Minor. But
see,
on
for
the
me,
whole,
I have an uncanny ability. I can hold, like, people are like, I need the asymmetrical, the B-symmetrical 6. I have the uncanny ability. I can hold an Xbox controller, PlayStation, like...
Oh, yeah, I'm over that now.
Yeah, they both feel like, fine. It's totally fine.
My number one issue now with this thing, and this is why I say minor, it's these two up here. These two little buttons up here.
Oh, okay.
They're too small. They're in a weird spot. They just you don't need the touchpad to be that gigantic. You could have just made them nice big circles and put them in just a nicer spot where they're easier to access. That's my number one problem with this thing. The triggers have improved. I think they could be a little bit better. But aside from that, it's good.
Honestly, for me, because I'm used to like playing on my DualSense a bit more, I always for the Xbox controller, I feel like my fingers are a little bit too high and I accidentally shoot when I shouldn't be. But the thing that I love about the Xbox controller, probably my favorite thing, is like how you could just roll on the RB and LB buttons with your finger. Like you don't have to do the weird switching.
I have the opposite thing. I actually think I like the way my fingers rest more naturally on the bumpers here, where on the Xbox controller, the ergonomics don't allow you to rest on the bumpers. They're designed to rest on the triggers.
Yeah.
So it's a different philosophy altogether. That's the one thing I prefer about this controller. Like right now, I'm just sitting naturally and it's on the bumpers. Where if I want to go on the bumpers on the Xbox controller, I have to force my fingers backwards a bit.
Now, Nick, I don't want to make you feel old. Do you think that's a generational thing?
No. It's the ergonomics. Microsoft's ergonomics were designed with the triggers in mind because it's the shooter console. So they designed it with the triggers in mind ergonomically. So the bumpers aren't... But that's why I love the Elite controller, because I've got my paddles at the back and then I don't have to worry about bumpers anymore.
That's the thing. The Elite controller would be the best controller ever made if it was just...
reliable?
Quality control, my friends.
My left bumper on my Halo Elite pad has now gone.
Yep. Within a month, John. Within a month.
It's not even a year old, my man. It's not even a year old. And
I hope this white one fixes the issues.
No, it won't, because they're still using the plastic parts inside.
But the white Elite one fixed all the issues with the black one. So I'm hoping that that's the plan here, that they adjusted the materials slightly on the first Elite, the white one, and it made a massive difference. I'm hoping this is the case for the... I say hope. I don't know. I'm saying I hope this is the case for the Elite 2. Having said that, those rumors of the PlayStation Elite controller, man, I can't wait for that thing. If that thing is real, can't wait. I love having back pedals. It's the greatest thing back pedals are the greatest thing ever.
Here's the next Sony show thing I'll say. I love the back button attachment on the DualSense 4. Love that thing because all I need's 2. I need was 2. And so that made me feel so much better in Apex.
So good.
I was like, this is what I need. So yeah, I'll get in X Zone, whatever the Sony thing they'll probably use for it.
It probably will be an in-zone controller, won't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's how
I'll still buy it.
I'll still buy, even if the logo is like the dumb thing that they're using, not the.
So there's no PlayStation logo on that stuff?
No, it's just Sony.
Really?
They really want to make it so that it's.
I wonder why. That feels like such a Microsoft of old thing to do.
Yeah.
It feels like such a typical Microsoft thing.
They're like, maybe would this confuse the PC audience by thinking it's like if we put a PlayStation emblem on it? I don't know. But it is weird.
They confuse easy, those PC players.
Exactly.
What's going on?
It's so weird. I found
we're so confused about dumb delivery that we have. We're accidentally downloading the goddamn wrong game. You know, it's only.
I really did find that in-zone branding odd.
It is. But it makes
when
sense.
You've got the strength of the PlayStation brand, and you don't just whack a PlayStation logo on that monitor, and you don't just whack a PlayStation logo on those headphones. Like it's.
I got the PlayStation TV. That's my second monitor. Remember that? The 3D
that's right.
glasses?
They did. Wasn't it only like a 32-inch or something? It was only small.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's a collector's item now.
Yeah. And
that's
I got it for $50.
How?
Man, what did I do at the time? I think I traded in my Xbox at the time. Because that one, here's what happened. My Xbox, I know, guys. Everybody, relax. Don't worry. I'm gonna tell you what happened. My Xbox red ringed, right? So what did I do? I did the penny trick.
That's not common.
I closed it, and then I just traded it in the GameStop because at that time I was jaded. I was jaded. I now have my PlayStation. I don't need no more red rings. And then I bought my PlayStation monitor for my PC.
Is it boxed? Is it boxed?
No. I use it when I podcast. It's my
no. I mean, as in, sorry, I apologize. As in, have you still got the box for it?
Oh, no.
Oh, God. If you ever sold it, you'd be able to sell it for so much more with the box.
Yeah. I regret not buying the PlayStation TV just for the sole purpose of just saying I have it. Because that thing goes for that thing goes for
I've got one.
Money now.
I've got one.
That goes for upwards of $100.
Do they really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. No, I use mine. That's my replace because I sold my PSP. And funny story, I think I saw my PSP yesterday.
Really?
I walked into a pawn shop, PAWN. Calm down. I walked into a pawn shop.
That clip's
and I was in there and I saw the Gears 360, that nice red one. I saw the Minecraft 1S, and I saw PSVRs, and I saw a Nintendo 64. And then I looked and I saw this PSP, and I'm like, man, that thing looks. Because my PSP, I had the Simpsons yellow one, the limited edition Simpsons yellow one. And the only reason I sold it is because the original battery had imploded and it was all fat and swollen. And I'm like, okay, this is obviously going to keep happening. So I went and I hunted down another genuine battery, bought it, sold it on eBay for a lot of money, like $400 Australian. And it was in perfect condition. When I say perfect, I mean like unnaturally perfect condition. And I actually used this thing. I enjoyed my PSP. And I'm in this pawn shop yesterday, and I was like, this has to be my Simpsons yellow PSP. Because it was in absolutely perfect condition. And I'm just like, I know it's not impossible, but I'm like, what are the odds that another dude in Melbourne not only had one of these things still all this time, but had it in that kind of condition? I'm like, what are the odds of that? I don't know. I swear it was my PSP that was there in this pawn shop.
Just for reference, it's probably easier and better for you to use the phrase second-hand shop. I'm just saying.
But Americans say pawn shop.
Yeah, they say pawn shop.
Yeah, but
so I'm trying to say it for the Americans.
But with the accent, it sounds like
It sounds a bit.
Oh yeah, because you guys go Pan,
That's
more
right.
I'm
like
gonna pawn it. Yeah, pawn.
P-A-H-N. Pan. It's like a pawn shop. Okay,
We've
yeah,
butchered
that's right.
we've butchered the Queen's language, and
Oh, big time.
that's
But
all
yeah,
fine.
and they had a PSP Go there. I was like, oh, that's the one thing I never bought. I never bought a PSP Go because I wasn't all in on digital yet back then. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want this all digital PSP, but God, I wish I had bought one. I've still got my Vita. I still have my Vita, the OLED 3G Vita, the good one. But yeah, I've got the little PS TV, and it's great to have as a PSP replacement. It's cool.
Yeah. See, my co-host, he has like 3 PlayStation Vitas. He's got all his PSPs. Me, I'm like, sold them because I'm a kid. Like, remember, I'm like 17, 18. It's on to the next thing. So for me with the Vita, I understood it died, and I just let go.
That's okay.
I
agree with you.
struggle to let go. I struggle to let go.
But now, like, I'm all in because now, like, portable games are now, games. They're not like these little, tastes. They're the full thing. So now I have like the Steam Deck, and it's, oh goodness, I almost fell. And it's like reality. It's like, this is what I want. Spider-Man, untethered, beautiful.
Yeah.
30
How much
frames,
did you
whatever.
buy? How much did you rebuy the PlayStation 3 for?
Great question. I think $110 American.
Wow, that seems
And it's
like
in
a lot.
perfect. Well, the ones I was looking at was dancing around either like 50 to like 150, and it just depends which one you wanted. So like it goes higher in value if it's like the fat ones, backwards compatible. Me, I just wanted one that worked that didn't look like it had roaches in it, and this one was.
So
like,
is yours
immaculate.
a slim? Is yours a slim?
Yeah, mine's is a slim, not a super slim, because I have.
They're
standards,
stunning.
but a slim.
Those slims are stunning. That's what I've got. I've got a black slim and I've got a silver slim.
Yeah.
And
silver slim's nice.
oh, the silver is beautiful. Like, hold on.
Oh, he's running over. Strolling over.
Yeah, this is typical Nick tangent right now.
This is good.
It's so nice. The silver one is so nice.
That is nice looking.
It's gorgeous.
It really
like I
is.
absolutely love this thing.
God damn.
And I've got a black one as a backup. Only because I don't trust the 360 and the PS3 from a reliability perspective. I just don't trust them. That's why I've got 2 360s and I've got 2 PS3s as fallbacks in case the main one I use dies. Because I was devastated. I had a launch PS3, the Foreman Grill one that was backwards compatible, and I tried to keep it, but I feel like the GPU was dying and I didn't know how to fix it. So I thought, you know what? Do I keep it in the hopes it doesn't die, or do I sell while the getting is good? So I sold it. I even still had other OS on it, on my one.
Ooh.
I still had other OS, so it sold for a lot of money. It was fully boxed, perfect condition, everything. Sold for a lot of money.
Okay, I'm going to assume that the audience is telling me to make you guys stop talking about second-hand trading of PlayStation stuff. You crazy.
I don't even know how we got on this tangent, but
I have no idea. But I'm putting a stop to it right
this
now.
thing is so nice. I love this. Look how nice it is.
Stop
It's
him!
so
Stop
good.
him! Someone, you do well on like one of those late night shopping TV channels. And here we have the beautiful silver PS3.
Silver slim PlayStation.
Don't you
3
love
console.
this? Don't you love this, Cheryl? And you
The
know, they
original
come back,
Blu-ray HD disc player.
they ring up fast because they are going fast. You know. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. But look. Long story short, Kojima, filthy traitor. How dare you do this to us? And he's making a
we were
game
talking
with us.
about Kojima.
I'm just trying to bring us back. I'm bringing us back on track. We're bringing it back.
There's a super chat from Sol. Playing Infinite while listening in feels good to catch one live, even if it's weird hearing you all speak at one speed, as like normal speed. I assume he usually
and really throw him.
He usually listens to us at double speed. I assume, but yeah, I like my Silver Slim. I'm planning on keeping that thing for a while.
I can tell.
It plays PS1 games.
Stop it!
It plays PlayStation 1 games.
Now. Come on.
Get Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation 1.
PlayStation.
And then you can just play it on your PS3.
I got you. I got the Legacy coming in. Amazon.
Oh, he's going.
Humble brag.
Don't
Sorry, John.
But maybe wait. Maybe wait for Metal Gear Solid. Maybe just
There you
wait.
go. There's a little tease. There's a little tease from the.
No rumor mill. Maybe just wait.
No rumor mill.
No rumor mill. I'm just like I said. I got a very interesting DM before. Maybe just wait.
Maybe just wait. But hey, outside of Kojima selling games to Game Pass and Sony forgetting to block those that they own, Embracer is out there buying more and more studios. They picked
Just
up
everything.
a bunch this week, including the guys making the Lord of the Rings games, right?
They just bought Lord of the Rings.
Full on
All of
rights.
it.
All of it.
All of it. They just bought all of it.
Wow.
Like, stuff it. Buy it all.
It's mad. So
Crazy stuff.
they
They bought Tripwire. They bought Tripwire Interactive as well.
Wow. That's the Killing Floor guys.
Great
Not
game,
just
by the
Killing
way.
Floor. There was something else really good they made. Hold on. Now I need
I
to
know them
Google
for
this.
Killing Floor 2, which is fantastic. But they do a lot of stuff.
Chivalry. Maneater.
Oh, Chivalry. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chivalry's fun, guys. Chivalry's a ton of fun.
That's what I mean.
One of
They're-
those PC games. Yeah.
Tripwire, and even Maneater. Maneater's a pretty cool game.
Yep.
Got that on
that
PlayStation
last
Plus.
Yeah. Same. Likewise. No way I was buying that game. But you know
Yeah.
what? Turned out pretty fun. Pretty fun.
PlayStation Plus, playing it on my PS5, it was alright.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Eating people. It was a shark.
Yeah. It's great little Game Pass game.
Is it also
yeah.
on Game Pass?
It is on Game Pass.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I saw it and I was like,
1,000
that's gonna
Gs,
come to
boys.
Game Pass. I will
Is
wait
it?
and
You reckon?
What,
I reckon
1,000
it's
Gs?
easy.
Gs.
It's an easy 1,000 Gs or easy platinum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a nice, it's just a little grindy, but it's a
I was
podcast
about to say,
game.
yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
Hang on. While we're on the subject of an easy 1,000 Gs, Nick, a few weeks ago, I gave you an easy recommendation to definitely play What Remains of Edith Finch before it
Ooh,
leaves
I
Game
haven't.
Pass.
I haven't done that yet.
I think it might have left Game Pass now. So
Oh, has it? No, I haven't done that
You've
yet.
let us all down.
No,
haven't
I
done
thought
it
those leave on the 30th.
Okay, you've got time. Come on, it's 2
I've got
hours.
time.
It's a 2-hour game. You can do.
I
the
still
whole
haven't
thing.
finished Bright Memory Infinite.
Oh, that's a
that's a-
90-minute game. Come
And
on.
I still haven't finished that yet. My attention span for video games has shifted. With me moving on to the Rocket Leagues and the Fortnites of the world, my attention span has now shifted. You need to deliver your entertainment to me in short bursts to keep me there.
it's fair.
Rocket League games are like 10 minutes. But for that 10 minutes, I'm White Line Fever. I'm all in. And same with Fortnite. But, yeah. I'll try. I'll endeavour to play it.
Good, you should. But yeah, so Embracer, there's a super chat on Embracer as well from Bob.
Bob Lopel, do you think Embracer have the studios for a subscription service that compete with Game Pass? Well, yeah. I'd be worried if they didn't at 120 studios.
I
I'd be
think,
kind of
Bob,
concerned.
you get, yes, they've got the studios to compete with Game Pass, but they haven't necessarily got the infrastructure to set up servers and blades and cloud and blah blah blah. So,
But that's if they go streaming.
well, even doing something like that and setting up a store, it's a significant investment. I would personally say they are a team that will be seeing what's happening in the industry, and these are the kinds of publishers that will sell their content to subscription services to the highest bidder, and that's how they'll make their money.
I was about to say, couldn't they do like an EA Play
Yeah, they could do.
Ubisoft Plus kind of thing? Say, okay, Microsoft, let's have an Embracer tier for Game Pass, and you pay an extra $5 a month. You give us a cut of that $5, and we'll just put all our Embracer games straight into the Embracer tier of Game Pass. And same with PlayStation. Go to PlayStation. Hey, PlayStation, let's have an Embracer tier for PlayStation Plus, or include. But Sony probably wouldn't want to give them a cut of the highest tier, so they'll probably just have like an Embracer tier, I assume.
Right.
Because would
Like
Sony
how-
want to
like
give them
how-
a cut?
Yeah, like with Ubisoft, they have that Ubisoft like classic games you get on extra / premium or whatever.
Yeah.
The new PlayStation Plus is a mess, but like, yeah, no, I the thing is, Embracer is just odd to me because
I
it's
know.
like for
What's
me,
their
it's
end
like
game?
how. Yeah, what's their end game? When's? I hate to sound like one of these people, but like, when is enough for them? Well, it's like this is a good. I mean, ACG has teased like there's something even crazier that he's about to get. So like when the thoughts that are in my mind is like, how do you manage? I'm always curious of like, how do you manage a studio, let alone 120 studios? Like how much money that's going to have to take, just infrastructure alone, building these studios out. What profit are they projecting to their shareholders that says, hey, let's go buy a whole Lord of the Ring? Let's go outbid Amazon on a property that people love. That's where my thoughts are, because like I don't know, with all the purchases and how big Embracer is, I have my doubts that they can wrangle all these studios up. I mean, we're seeing it right now with like KOTOR, right? That's being tossed over to Saber because one of their teams just couldn't, or Aspyr couldn't handle it, or they didn't like what they saw out of Aspyr, rather, I should say. So that's where my concern is. It's like these are a lot of studios, and it seems like there's already something not totally right within some of their development studios. So how do you really manage it? Really?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I'll stick to my guns. I'm still gonna stick to my guns and say that this is all a big ruse by Phil, and they're just gonna buy up Embracer. Once Embracer's got big enough, then they go swoop in and just buy Embracer and instantly add 120 studios to Xbox Game Studios.
that was Microsoft's plan all along.
Yeah, it's a ruse all along.
The mask comes off the Embracer CEO, and it's Phil.
And it's Phil Spencer. But hey, speaking of Aspyr and KOTOR, man, that's a train wreck that just somehow keeps getting more trains running into the back of it, and then adding that to that train wreck.
I understand that Aspyr is no longer the developer of the KOTOR.
Yeah, I think they've moved it on to Saber.
Oh, so Saber Interactive are doing it. Interesting.
Well, Embracer owns them too.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez, that's gonna.
I think Saber is the company that owns. Saber's the company that owns Aspyr. Oddly enough, so they're the.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Aspyr. So they have to fix their mess.
Funny that's very interesting too, because I feel like that may have ramifications for other things.
Yeah.
Remember, Saber is the developer of the game that I found amazing, Time Shift. I don't know if you remember Time Shift. Love Time Shift. You're muted, Joe.
No. I'm thinking out loud.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you, because I saw the mouth moving. I'm like, wait, he's talking, but I'm not hearing anything.
I was mouthing it. I'm like a puppet almost.
Time Shift was on 360 and PS3. Great first-person shooter. I was a big fan of Time Shift. They also did Halo CE Anniversary. I believe Halo 2 Anniversary. They do Halo 2 as well?
Yeah, they did. They worked with 343 on it, correct?
Yeah, so...
They know how to do remakes, so good hands.
Yeah, they seem like the right team to take over. I just wonder what other ramifications that has for certain other things.
Do you mean certain agreements of exclusivity and stuff like that?
Well, I assume that a Saber were working on stuff, and now all of a sudden they're taking on this. I'd assume they were working. I doubt Saber was just sitting there,
twiddling their thumbs,
crossed, just waiting for stuff to happen. All of a sudden they're handed what I assume is a big project. If Sony led with this and Sony wanted this enough to lock it down as a timed exclusive, I'm assuming this is a big project. So all of a sudden, Saber probably has to drop potentially other stuff they were doing and be all hands on deck for this. But I don't know. Unless they've got a long window now to launch it because of all the stuff that's happening. Maybe now it's not expected for another 2-3 years. Who knows?
I would say
just an interesting development.
I would say a good 3, just to see how the not horror stories, but the stories that have been through KOTOR and them saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's no delays are expected." I think Jason Schreier's like, "No, there's definitely delays to this game." I mean, how do you get handed a project that's, you probably been handed a skeleton of a thing and going, "Okay, do the biopsy of why this didn't work and do something that's better," and you have a year. Like that's going to take a special type of talent. That I don't know anyone possesses.
Several Halo games, so
you're right. That's true. So I don't know. It hurts. I'm a big Star Wars fan, seeing how KOTOR's been kind of just juggled around. I don't have a lot of faith in this. It also gets me a little nervous to see, going back to the last story as well, of like, you guys have Lord of the Rings now. You have the thing that started fantasy, right? Like this fantasy medieval genre. Now you have this. How are you going to treat this, right? Like, I don't want a spin-off Aragon game or movie or whatever. I don't care what happened. Like, Gandalf the Grey is fine the way he's entered into the Lord of the Rings movie. He doesn't need a prequel movie, right? Again, like he doesn't need his little Gandalf moment. Yeah, are you an angel? That type of shit. No, he doesn't need that. So when I'm taking a look of just how they've handled a Star War, I get a little nervous of like what else they're handling with care. But I don't know, man. This again, Embracer gets me a little nervous because I see them buying a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, y'all, what do you make? I get Saints Row's in a week, but like, what are the expectations for each one of these studios versus the projects they're actually working on? I don't know.
Yeah. Because they're not a platform holder, they're never going to be under the same sort of scrutiny that you get.
No,
Microsoft, where's all the games, man? Sony, what are you doing? They're never going to get that kind of scrutiny. They'll just be able to truck along.
They are a conundrum, aren't they?
Well, I guess we'll see in the next
enigma.
few years what happens with Embracer. But,
wrapped in a vest.
Interesting. The only other piece of big news this week, there's a couple of little bits, but the big one was Quakecon. Quakecon happened, which was cool, and they did a big, available now, some Elder Scrolls add-ons, Battlespire and Redguard. We had Quake 4, Wolfenstein 3D.
How odd was that Game Pass thing? Like,
available PC.
They own Quake 4, and they've put Quake 4 on PC Game Pass, but really? They couldn't make Quake 4 backwards compatible? The 360 one? Really?
Maybe it's something that they're still working on. Who knows?
It was published by Activision, right? So they got to deal with them.
Was it really?
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then maybe they're waiting for that deal to go through.
Who
then as soon as that deal goes through,
was Aspyr. They're listed on
really?
Wow.
Interesting.
Small world.
Interesting.
Man. Small world.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but we didn't see any big teasers for the next projects or anything like that. We didn't see anything from id. We didn't see anything from Machine Games. We didn't see any new Quake IP stuff happening. So it was a relatively
no Quake 2 remaster, which is what a lot of people were talking up because apparently something was listed to do with Quake 2 or something
in the Steam database.
So people were expecting. Is QuakeCon still going or is it finished now?
Today is the final day, but the first day is like the announcement day. The rest of it's a lot of streams. And
you never know. Never know. Maybe we get something last minute.
Let's hope.
Hopefully.
But, I got a question for you guys because like QuakeCon, totally out of my realm. How do you think, like, when it comes to like the Quake IP, is there a hungering for that to come back? Is it like the similar to like Doom?
I would say so. I mean, look,
not on the same level as Doom,
but look what they did with Doom, and then they made it they made it relevant again, right? And perhaps you would argue, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that, id? But then they did make it relevant again, and yet still somehow stick to its roots of what it is. So what can they do with Quake? Well, let's see. Let's see what you can do with Quake. Because Quake was that, with the Voodoo graphics cards and seeing like we were talking about last week, seeing the new particle effects that was revolutionary on PC at the time. So there's this kind of nostalgia for it in a different way to Doom. But I'd love to see what they could do with that kind of very gothic.
There was the rumor last year on our rumor mill about the Quake reboot, supposedly with a female protagonist. Is what I had been told.
Doom
last
Girl,
I checked,
Doom Guy and Quake Girl.
Last I checked, I haven't heard that that's not a thing. So I don't know.
I just don't like how they make Quake so woke now. I just don't like it. It used to mean something. Yeah.
Quake is woke.
See, for me, when it comes to also Quake, I wasn't expecting Wolfenstein because I feel like Wolfenstein that's an Xbox showcase thing. That's where Machine Games also working on Indiana. I don't know if I expect that at the Disney showcase. Would like it though.
It probably would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, that would be so good.
Just give me a nice little whip, and I'm good.
It'd be nice to have something. When was that announced? When was Indiana Jones announced? 2 years ago?
Last year? I think was it
last year? I thought it was 2 years ago.
Maybe it's 2 years. Yeah. The lockdown stuff.
We need to hear something, don't we? About Indiana Jones.
I hope they pull it off. I really do. I hope they pay a buttload of money to get Harrison Ford to voice it. That would make me really happy.
He would phone that in so hard.
I don't care.
He would phone that in so hard.
Don't care.
So you know what are the lines?
Literally phone it in. He'd probably just call up and go, okay, you got a recording device attached to the phone here? All right, go. What are the lines?
Pay Mark Hamill to do a Harrison Ford impression because Mark Hamill does it.
There you go. I'd pay good money for that.
That could work.
God, Indiana's great. So again, I don't know what I had no expectation for this. So all the stuff that I see, I'm happy for you Quake people out there. I hope you enjoy this.
Hope so.
That's a good little sentiment, Joe. Quakecon was it, and then the other big pieces of news that while at Quakecon they did do a arcane deep dive welcome to Redfall video. There's a link on XboxEra.com if you want to go check it out. Definitely, the more and more I see of Redfall, the more and more I'm like, good. I'm booking a weekend off for that one.
I'm so getting on board for that game.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great.
The more I see us, the more I see a Starfield, I'm like, this looks like a pass. But the Redfall, Redfall looks
great,
just right up my alley. And this team is the team that worked on Prey, and Ainsley Bowden over at Season Gaming keeps on preaching how great that game is. So I'll believe him. I'll get hyped for this one. It looks really, really fun. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm like you. I have zero interest in Starfall and Starfield. I got Redfall and Starfield mixed up. I have zero interest in Starfield
and Redfield. They both sound the same.
Yeah, Redfield. But even Redfall, I wasn't that interested in initially when I heard what it was going to be. I'm like, I don't know if I really want this. But once I saw it, I was like, now it's on my radar. Like, this looks like something I could enjoy.
Just to see how they balance co-op with how their level design is just incredible. So to have that implemented in a multiplayer-esque, form, or at least cooperative form, that has me really excited of how each level is going to play and how you're going to play them and all that stuff. Yeah,
I'm
digging it.
Looks real good.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I'm the same with Starfield. Like I've not enjoyed any of the traditional Bethesda RPG games because I'm clearly a broken individual. I just didn't have the time for them, and they didn't grab me. But
we could just say Fallout 4 was not great, and we could acknowledge it. The base building stuff
to have an opinion on it.
I haven't played any of them Fallout games.
It's just never a genre. RPGs are a weird one for me. It takes a lot for me to get interested, but sci-fi, grounded sci-fi is my jam. So Starfield could be my first sort of Bethesda, this is why people love Skyrim. I understand now. But
I love Skyrim, and then everything else for me is just, all right, this is neat.
Never played Skyrim.
Oh,
Yeah, I've tried it a couple of times, but
good. So good.
Yeah, and then High on Life, which I was really bummed. They posted out a thing.
Yeah, they delayed it.
I don't know if you watched the attached YouTube video with the guy trying to advertise dating for his son. But tickled me enough to not really be too mad. It's still coming 2022, but it's delayed to December 13th. And yeah, I'm going to be doing the review on that one, so I'm looking forward to it because I enjoy Justin Roiland's work. But never mind. I've got a new season of Rick and Morty coming in a couple of weeks to tide me over until it arrives. But we've had a lot going on the site this week, and Jesse, as always, is behind the scenes at the moment, producing and pushing buttons and making things look pretty on YouTube. Jesse, how do you do all of the things that you do in the same space of time that we all have to do the things that we don't do? I'm confused. And also, what games have you covered this week? And what's coming next week?
This week, we have had Tribes of Midgard, Curse to Golf, and the excellent Midnight Fight Express go up.
I really want to play that game.
Yeah, Midnight Fight Express is my jam.
Oh, looks so good.
Game Pass. I actually ended up giving all of them rather solid reviews. Tribes of Midgard, pretty fun if you're in a group. Curse to Golf, really interesting golf puzzle platformer. It's hard to explain, but it looks great. It has incredibly good music, and it's just very fun. I really enjoyed that one. Only $20. Same for Tribes of Midgard.
Yeah, my co-host Kyle, he's all in for that golf game. I'm like,
it's super
good for
fun.
you. Like golf, not for me, but
it's not it's not a golf game. It is a puzzle platformer where you hit a ball, but it's not golf. Like every level, and I'm playing the review now, every level is like this giant puzzle, and you're trying to figure out how to get from the start to the hole within a set number of shots, and you can gain shots by hitting certain things, and there's a whole card system for power-ups and stuff. It's very fun, and it's not a golf game. It just sort of has golf trappings alongside it.
It's a very clever idea. It looks cute as well.
Yeah, incredibly good music. And Midnight Fight Express is pretty much, if you like John Wick and Jackie Chan and Jet Li, that game is like living the fantasy of being in one of those movies. If they were pretty ugly, it's not a great looking game when things zoom in, but the animation work is incredible. It was done by different studios and one guy. So one guy made the game, but he worked with, it's kind of like The Ascent and some of the in Tunic, where they worked with other studios to help. And so he had a studio that did all the motion capture with real people doing all that fighting stuff.
Oh wow.
And it looked incredibly good.
Yeah, cool. I love the look of Midnight Fight Express. That is going to be.
It does. It looks so fun.
When's that out? 23rd?
Next week.
It comes out Tuesday. It's got 40 levels. Every level is 3 to 5 minutes long and built to be replayed a lot. It's got a whole leaderboard system, and yeah, it's unbelievably fun. I really.
Do you know how the achievements are looking?
I ended up playing it on Steam because, like almost everything else, you can't get a review code on console for most smaller titles right now. Ever since Cyberpunk, they've been really picky about what gets through certification. So I should have Xbox code for this probably Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll get to actually see how it works on there. I put up a review in progress for Madden 23, which, if you are a fan of the Madden series, is finally an improvement gameplay-wise, which that series isn't always known for, but only on Series and PS5 consoles. Even PC doesn't get the actual new game. PC just
is it also on like Xbox One and PS4? Is it still?
It is, but what is on Xbox One and PS4 is just a roster update. It is last year's game with like some trimmings and same gameplay.
It has
$70 on new consoles, and it's even the old version on PC. It is not the new one. They're like, oh, we want to get there. We want to do it eventually, but it seems like they're building their PC side back up again. So yeah, you get last year's game with new rosters on PC. So don't buy it on PC.
Incredible.
Weird.
That's incredibly insulting.
I had to put in the title. This is a review for Madden on Series consoles. It is not. If you're not on a Series or PlayStation 5, you're getting last year's game with new rosters.
Why won't they just use at least just use the Xbox version for PC then?
I don't know.
How strange. How strange.
So weird.
I swear that's still COVID and pandemic and pipelines still.
It sounds like they're struggling trying to catch up on the PC side because they for like a while there they didn't even have PC versions.
That's so weird.
Yeah, so I'll have the final review for that next week with a score. I will also have the Ascents DLC Cyber Heist. On Friday, the Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed remake is coming out, so look for a review on that. Jesus Christ, what the hell is there? I'm forgetting stuff. Saints Row releases. I think that also releases on. Yeah, the biggest one, the one I spent all like 20 hours playing this week.
I'm so excited about that.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
Yeah. So keep an eye. That launches, I think, Tuesday as well, because everything has to come out at the exact same time.
Everything is next week. Everything is next week.
Yeah, so Saints Row review next week. Keep an eye even on our Twitch channel. Maybe I'll have a special stream on Monday. But we'll see.
Coffee with Cabeza.
Yeah, and then I'm also working on Soul Hackers 2. I've got everything done except for the Ascent and Soul Hackers 2. So I know it sounds like a lot, but
yeah,
I still need to do something with
and they pay you,
Turbo
right?
Golf Racing.
Jesse, they pay you.
I'm gonna talk with John about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think you should unionize. Just yourself.
Because I also have Despot's Game, which no one's gonna know what that is. But if you ever look it up, Despot's Game, survival sim. It's so small I don't even remember the name, and I just forgot the code for it. Despot's Game, Dystopian Army Builder. It's been in early access on Steam forever. It's really cool. I've got that, and I've got Steel Rising, which will both be in early to mid-September.
Madness.
I got time with those.
Right, and this is I can we clone Jesse? I don't know, but yeah, keep an eye on the website and on our YouTube channel for all of the.
We had a Tymesia review from Austin on Monday. I forgot about that one.
I'm looking forward to that.
He hated it. Other people seem to like it.
Okay,
but he didn't. The gameplay didn't click with him. Like cool style, but other people they really like.
You're like Sekiro meets Bloodborne. I'm like, two of my favorite games of all time. Let's do this.
But with 1/50th of the budget.
There. I'm not expecting an Elden Ring for this, a little indie. No, but I'm expecting
some people really like it, some people don't. So yeah.
Speaking of the Bloodborne stuff, did you see the Insider Snitch account teased Lies of P coming to Game Pass?
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that game.
Expect that at Gamescom, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because I'm more like with that Lies of P thing. So that Insider Snitch account probably works for YouTube.
Oh, absolutely.
It's probably a YouTube employee that sees all those videos get uploaded, goes through them, and is like, "Oh, cool."
It's confirmed for Gamescom. It's in the list of things Jeff talked about.
Ah, well, there you go. So that's probably coming to Game Pass day one then. Lies of P.
Blimey, they must have paid a pretty penny for that one because that's got some people getting hyped.
Yeah, but it's still an indie, isn't it?
It's NeoWiz. They're a pretty decent-sized South Korean publisher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And a lot of heavy influence of Bloodborne. I think some Sekiro elements because he's grappling on places and stuff. So
visually looks real nice.
Yeah, it does look pretty interesting. So busy weeks with several S's. But we're at the part of the show where we like to remind the 100 people that haven't pressed like to press like. And then we like to thank our wonderful patrons because they're lovely people and they enable us to do all the stuff that we do and keep the website running and the forums looking fancy and our wonderful day one Game Pass application to exist. And, give us the get up and go to come and do this for you guys every weekend. So big thank you to all of our patrons. One of their privileges is that they get to ask a wonderful community question. And we've got a few. They're a little bit PlayStation themed for some reason. Can't think why. But just as a heads up as well to our higher tier patrons, all of your merch, according to Patreon, has been shipped. So you're now starting collecting the new stuff. And if you haven't seen the new T-shirt design yet, I think I mentioned it last episode. If you haven't seen the new T-shirt design yet for you guys, you should go and have a ganders because it's pretty cool. If you haven't. Yeah, community questions.
I really like the PlayStation theme we have. I like the blue wave.
It's pretty. Can we
Isn't
green
it
it
nice?
up? Can we change the hue?
Nah, but
Yeah,
it looks
I can-
nice in
I can
blue.
do that.
It looks nice in blue. No, leave it blue.
No, give me
No, he
green.
means
whole
for when
point-
it's not PlayStation themed.
Yeah,
But the whole point is it's supposed to be PlayStation themed.
I
so leave it.
know.
He
I
means
know.
for when it's not PlayStation themed in the future.
Ah, okay.
If we wanted to.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. It looks nice. The blue wave from the PlayStation
peaceful.
4
It's calming.
intro. Oh, did the PS3 have a wave thing too?
No, I think that's
Kind of
I think
did.
that's a PS3. PS3 had the
Yeah.
wave. Yeah,
Yeah. It was nice.
it made you
That
feel
is
like you're at a
PlayStation-
day
That is a
spa.
PlayStation 4 live wallpaper based on the PlayStation.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Bring those
That makes
back,
sense.
please, for the love of God.
Oh yeah, I don't think we're gonna see themes. I
And
wish.
they definitely wouldn't.
I
honor
bought
your
so
previous
many
purchases.
themes. I paid money for so many themes, and like they're just gone now.
It's just gone.
I
Had a
hate
beautiful
that.
Ghost of
I hate
Tsushima
that.
one.
I had this. Oh, what was my favorite one? I bought the Firewatch one because that one was just stunning. The Firewatch. There was all these other really, really nice ones that I had paid money for that I loved, and I'm like,
You know what I like about our little rants, Nick? I can see John slowly dying.
Every week. Every goddamn week.
but I
love
hate
it.
that they just throw my money away. Like, I gave you money, respect it.
Yeah, where's my avatars, Microsoft? All right.
Yeah,
I've dressed
well,
that
they
little
still
dude
they
up.
still technically
They brought him
work.
back.
Yeah.
They still technically work.
On what? Where can I see them? I'd have to go to my profile to even see
That's
the little
right.
blighter.
Well, they're still there. At least it's there with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 themes. I bought PlayStation 3 themes. My favorite is
They're
Chroma.
there on your PS3.
This gorgeous theme with these waves, these color waves, and this. Oh,
You should be proud that you had the privilege of paying Sony that money.
That's right.
nah, that's crap. Like, respect my money, please. That's
It could
that's
be
why
worse.
I
It
buy.
could have been. It could have been Nintendo. That's how I always see things. You know.
I spend my money carefully with Nintendo because I don't trust them with anything. I don't trust them with anything at all. So I'm very wary with Nintendo. Just I wouldn't spend money on things like themes and stuff with Nintendo. Just
You
no
pay,
way.
you pay $3 for a month for the privilege of getting frustrated by Nintendo Online. The illusion of an online network.
Do not
That's what
talk
you
to
get.
me about Nintendo Online. All right,
Man.
I will just go
Sucks.
on.
I know. That's how we band together. Us Xbox and PlayStation.
That's full on. I'll just stick to giving them money for collectible hardware. And I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I still have the Mario cereal.
Same.
Okay.
And the cereal's in
Yeah.
the box. There's roaches in
Same here. Oh yeah. Mine's expired by like 2 years, but it's
Absolutely it is.
sealed up and just still in the box. Okay. First community question. Okay. DeoGame. Hello all. What do you make of the division between Game Pass PC and Game Pass console? I know there was some controversy this week involving games only being added to PC, as well as games like Age still being PC only. I have mixed feelings. Ultimately, I have a PC, but have been console only in the past. I think sometimes there are licensing issues and things beyond control that make it logical to not worry about parity at times, but I also think this should cut both ways more. To give an example, Saints Row can't come to Game Pass PC due to Epic exclusivity. It could theoretically come to console and cloud though. I get wanting to ensure parity, but I think it's important not to miss the forest for the trees, especially with exclusive PC titles existing. And before anyone asks, yes, there is the odd console-only new drop like Crossfire or MLB, but as of late, those seem to be few and far between.
I don't think this is a big deal. Honestly, I
No.
saw some uproar. I saw some uproar on the Game Pass account, the main Game Pass account, not the specific Game Pass for PC account. Tweeted out the image with all PC titles from Quakecon, and people kind of were like, "What about console?" And I'm like, "It says PC right on the image, guys. They're telling you the truth. Like, what are you getting mad over?"
Yeah.
They're separate services. They're separate platforms. Yes,
Yeah.
Microsoft, the entity, the benevolent conglomerate, tries as best they can to ensure parity, but the nutshell is it's not always going to fly that way, and I don't see why we need to get upset about it. It's just, it is what it is. If you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, because you have both, congrats, you get the best of both worlds. If you're a Game Pass PC only subscriber, congrats, that's the service you're paying for. If you're a Game Pass console subscriber, why are you looking at the PC one and having a whinge? You're not paying for that service. The end. That's my take. There you go.
No,
you get what you get. Don't get upset.
Yeah. Also, Age of Empires, since now I'm on a Xbox Microsoft focused show. Age of Empires, fantastic, y'all.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till that comes to console.
It's Gamescom this week. It's Gamescom this week. Come on.
Let's hope. Let's hope they don't have Parasolid shilling a trebuchet for 15 minutes, and they have something.
I'm actually surprised they haven't announced the console version yet.
Gamescom, isn't it?
Yeah.
As far as I was aware, that was supposed to actually be announced quite a while ago.
Maybe they were working on it still. Maybe there's some kinks. Maybe trying to get that work on a pad is difficult.
We tried to shy away from leaking that because we've known since almost mid last year, but we were like, oh, we don't want to ruin that surprise for them, and we've really had Adam Icegreen on the show a couple of times, and then it started to leak out, and I'm like, ugh, that could have been us. Which reminds me, because I know Joe wanted to ask me about that sort of stuff, and Age is a perfect example of it. Because I know you had said to me that you wanted to ask, why do you do it? And the simple...
You things you do, Nick? No, it's something far more deeper than that. Yeah, but yeah.
That's the thing. Age now. So we had known that Age was coming to consoles for quite some time. But we just didn't want to wreck that surprise for Adam. And then all of a sudden other people mentioned it. And it's like, my point is, if it's not me, it's going to be someone else. The crux of the issue is in the end, people like myself, Grub, Jez, these are all messengers, ultimately. What they need to find out is, why is the source wanting to do it? The person that sent the Last of Us remake stuff to me.
Yeah.
Sony needs to work out why that person decided they wanted to get that stuff out there. Don't worry about me leaking it. If it wasn't going to be me, someone else would have. I mean, look at Tom Henderson now. Tom Henderson's leaking a bunch of stuff from it.
Yeah.
But don't worry about what Tom Henderson's doing. Why is the other person sending it to Tom Henderson? That's what Sony needs to work out.
Do they feel underappreciated? Do they want something
Are they pissed off? Have they been crunched? Are they disgruntled at their boss? Are they that's the part they need to sort out. Don't worry about people like me that put it on Twitter. If it's not me putting it on Twitter, it'll be someone else putting it on Twitter. If it's not that person, it'll be someone else.
Yeah.
And this is the issue. These companies need to sort out, why is it that we have these people that want to leak this stuff? What's happening? Why? That's what they need to get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
There's no point going after people like me. Even if you strike my account and get rid of my Twitter account, someone else will leak something.
Right. The snitch will put something out in Morse code again. Yeah.
I mean, the guy that sent me the Last of Us stuff literally said to me, this is going to get out anyway. You may as well be the first one. He literally said it to me. He's like, this is getting out one way or the other. I'm like, okay, boop. So I put it up on Twitter. So if I denied it, if I knocked that back and said, no, don't worry about it, someone else was going to post it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Interesting. See, these are the conversations. These are really interesting conversations. I like this. Yeah.
Yeah. They're good.
I should think.
Oh, we could go for a long time. I'll jump on your show and we'll talk about it. All
right, let's make it happen.
Putting it in a different way, Joe. Like say you got, the trophy room got a big
Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, say you got the trailer before anybody else, and you had it, and you're like, oh my god, this is real. Oh my god, I could break the news. Oh, but I'm going to ruin the developers' surprise, and all the joy. But you, the trophy room, would gain X number of followers, all that interaction. Sure. Would you do it?
If I got Bloodborne 2?
Yeah, you had it before anybody else.
Here's a good story. I met Chris Rock at a Shake Shack. It's a burger joint.
Yeah. Shake Shack, lovely stuff.
Yeah, okay. Oh, fantastic. And he was like wearing all denim, like he was back in the 90s again, shades. I looked at him, he looked at me, he was just like, oh, God damn it. So I got made. But I just looked at him. He looked at me, and we just nodded at each other. He's like, thank you. And I just went along my day.
Go about his day.
So I would look at that, and I'd be like, all right, God is real after all. And I go out my day.
So someone else will leak it anyway.
Yeah,
let them have it.
If you've got it, someone else is going to do it. But you know, it's going to come out. That's the conundrum, right? Because
it's going to come out anyway.
It's going to come out anyway. But
that's what I mean. It's going to come out anyway.
Opportunity to be the guy that is the guy that says.
Yeah.
Hey,
see, if I had the chance, and then like the float, like
tricky,
yeah,
right?
probably would. Yeah, probably would.
That's what I mean, and that's the thing.
But now I'm just thinking about a Bloodborne 2 trailer, and it just makes me happy. Like my soul is alive.
Quick, someone send him let's test him. Let's spend a bunch of money rendering a really fancy-looking Bloodborne 2 trailer. And
just
while
give
we're
me a 4K image at 60 frames per second, and that's all it takes.
No, we'll have some frame drops in there to make it feel authentic.
There's a super chat from Sol.
You just faked all that Spider-Man stuff, so obviously you can make this Bloodborne stuff too.
Oh, the Spider-Man PC stuff that I faked. Yeah. I faked that too. I'll make a Bloodborne trailer. Yeah.
Get to it.
Super chat from Sol. Trebuchet are the superior siege weapon.
He's right.
We'll talk about age.
He's right.
Sure.
In the end, maybe it's better that I do it, because then I give a focal point, a face that people can attack and send all their hatred towards.
It is a very punchable face.
Whatever.
I agree. And what's interesting is, Nick and I have been doing this podcast for over 3 years. Over 3 years?
Just over 3 years.
Right. And I cop little to no flack on Twitter. Ever.
Nothing deflects. There's no splashback. There's no
one comes
runoff.
to me and goes,
there's nothing.
I'll just chill out.
There's nothing.
It's great. It's a great world. Like, hey, if there are any insiders wanting to leak information so I can, try and catch up with Nick, hit me up.
Mate.
If you know anything about Bloodborne.
All I'm going to say is Sony probably has some stuff to take care of.
Yeah.
There may be more coming over the next month or so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They need to hire like a John Wick person.
They need to, there's some stuff going on there that they need to take care of, because I think there's more coming. Wow. Speaking of which, I might have got a DM about the next PlayStation Showcase too. I had said that I was told August, but it was a tentative August. That may now be September now. It was a tentative August to begin with, but I think they might try and get out before the Disney show, I reckon.
Can I say my inside source? What they told me?
Yeah, go on.
End of September, Jim Ryan's going to come out. He's going to say, listen, we had a good run. PlayStation's dead.
Oh, wow.
And then Phil Spencer's going to come on stage. Yeah. He's just like, it was me. I did it.
We're buying the PlayStation brand.
That's right.
It's going to be Microsoft
pretty wild
PlayStation.
Stuff.
No more Xbox. Xbox is gone now.
Done.
Because it's a silly name.
It's just imploded.
Okay. Yep. Xbox Dad. Okay. Morventhus. Congratulations on almost hitting the coveted 123 numbered
123.
podcast. 123.
Can we have now Michael Jackson as our music next week?
And then we can't monetize the video.
That will get it blocked and no one can even watch it.
Okay, get me a dodgy karaoke MIDI version, please.
Okay. Now to the hard-hitting part. Pick one or both. Would you play a game made by Peter Molyneux that is literally a game where you play as a politician in a country of your choosing? This game would require you to know the ins and outs of the country of your choice's political structure to succeed. Yes, it's a political edutainment game. Or, what would you like to see in a spiritual successor to Diddy Kong Racing? I would not like to play a game from Peter Molyneux.
Oh my god! A game about politics
from Peter Molyneux.
See, if you made it like Football Manager, because I'm that type of nerd, I would do it. Like you made a Football Manager sim, and like man. Someone's just like, I don't know,
Yeah,
Like they
I'm
say
with
something crazy and I have to damage control it.
you. Yeah,
You know? That's-
you're the PR team out there.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, get them on
Flies.
OAN and tell them to say some crazy lie that fixes this. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'd be into it.
I
probably
Spiritual
Diddy
successor to Diddy Kong. See, the problem is Rare would not make a go-kart game now. And I would assume that most of the developers that worked on Diddy Kong Racing are probably no longer at Rare. So the question is, who made Crash Team Racing? Was that Beanox or Toys for Bob? Who made Crash Team, the new one? The new Crash Team Racing?
I think it's Beanox. Right?
Beanox, I'm pretty sure, yeah. It's Beanox.
It is Beanox, isn't it? The new one. Aren't Microsoft about to own Beanox?
Yes. Sorry, they're a Call of Duty studio now.
Aren't they all?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess they could make it wouldn't be Diddy Kong Racing because Nintendo owns that. But my assumption is that surely as soon as Microsoft is done acquiring ABK, surely you get Beanox to make a Microsoft kart racer under the banner of either Crash,
And
Banjo,
Kart Zooey.
Minecraft, whoever. You have an umbrella, obviously, because you're not going to call it Microsoft Kart Racer because that's like the dumbest name ever and no one would buy it. But if you did it sort of like how Sega did the Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, if you could do something like that. So the banner character is either Crash or Banjo, take your pick. And then you have the All-Stars underneath them, and then it's just everything.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Get me
I
a
agree.
Warhog that looks like a cart. I'm in.
Yeah. That would be cool. And it's just got everyone. Chief driving around, and Banjo, and Crash, and Spyro, and I don't know.
Marcus Phoenix growling.
Marcus Phoenix.
Undertone.
Yeah. Just all of it. Just that'd be cool.
Where's JD? Oh, God. Ah.
And the oh, there he is. Okay. Hytham G. First question. So, not only the Ludens that you on Phil's shelf indicates the Overdose project, but what if it also means that Death Stranding is coming to Xbox ecosystem? I mean, from the beginning when I saw that statue on Phil's shelf, that's what I saw. But now the shoe fits. Your guys' take? Yeah, you're not. Be happy that you got Death Stranding on PC with Xbox achievements. That's as far as you're getting. You won't be getting any further than that. No way. And I know you can say, oh, but MLB's different. Like, MLB is owned and run by MLB. That's why Sony's hand was forced. Sony didn't have much of a choice. MLB was like, put it on Xbox or else you don't get to make this game anymore. Death Stranding, Sony ultimately owns the IP. They just, for whatever odd reason, didn't publish it on PC, and that was the loophole that they needed.
Yeah.
Console is Sony's realm. You're not going to see Death Stranding on Xbox. It's just not going to happen. But yeah. One last question. This begs the question, with MLB The Show 21 and Death Stranding that is on and coming to Xbox ecosystem, do you guys think we'll see PlayStation properties like God of War games, Bloodborne, Horizon games, and whatever PlayStation games I can list, a whole lot to come to Xbox ecosystem? Your guys' take?
Nope, not anytime soon, bud.
No,
Nope.
not unless literally PlayStation becomes a third party.
A third-party publisher.
Then,
Wait till the end of September. That's when they announce it.
yeah.
If they get Sega'd, then that is when you will see it. If Sony gets Sega'd, then that's when it would happen. But I don't see PlayStation getting Sega'd anytime in the foreseeable future. That's my take.
There it is. That's the nutshell, Hytham.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Okay. You get what you get. Don't get upset.
That's the one.
Okay. TheBrightestSun. Hi, folks. Xbox is now in its 4th generation, and the future looks bright with a lot of games on the horizon, and one of those games will become the game that will define Xbox this generation. No, this Xbox generation, sorry. The game that represents the true essence of this era. And as people have biases, generation-defining games will be different for different people, I guess. My bias list looks like this. Crimson Skies for OG Xbox, Gears of War for 360, Forza Horizon 4 for Xbox One. But what about yours? And if you remove the personal bias and define the objectively best games of those eras, would it change your list? I like questions like this.
Mm-hmm.
They're good. It has to be Halo for OG Xbox.
Yeah, Halo.
Like it has to be
OG
Halo.
Xbox.
Like I don't know how you can answer anything other than Halo. Like
Well, Halo 1 or Halo 2?
Halo CE.
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 Just started it off. Okay.
like the
I'm not
reason
of that
Halo.
mindset.
The reason
I'm thinking
Halo
Halo
is
2.
but the reason Halo CE is the only correct answer is because the Xbox brand doesn't exist without it.
Sure. Okay, so we're just weighing the importance, not the...
Do you know?
How good
But,
the
but it was also the
Yeah.
highest rated game. It's like a 98 or 97 on Metacritic. So it ticks both boxes. Like one of the best selling, best rated, created the foundation for what Xbox is. Like it's pretty much the only answer, regardless of personal opinion. And this is, I'm not even saying whether Halo CE is my favorite Xbox game or not. I'm just saying it's the only answer to that question.
Yeah,
Because
it's the game that defined that console.
that it
Halo
defined that
2
console.
was a hype moment because of Halo CE. Xbox
Yeah, Halo
exists
2's
because of Halo.
like
That's not
It has to be
bias.
Halo.
That's just fact.
What'd you say? Giving them back their bomb. It's like, oh, if you badass.
Yeah,
Give
just
us the
is
bomb
what
back.
it is.
tell
For
me what you're doing on that
360,
trip.
for 360, yeah, Gears
of
is
War
a
for
good
me.
answer. Yeah, Gears
of
is
War,
a good
100%.
answer for 360.
I would say Gears for the mainstream. Like Gears is the game that everyone went, wow, okay, the high definition era is here. Games look like this now, all muddy and brown and serious.
I remember when you're entering the mine and like you see the water, it's bouncing off of his shoulder and like, oh shoot, this is something I've never. Yeah,
But does it?
really is.
So I mean, I'm guessing from the games that the Brightest Sun listed, this has to be first party exclusives. But like, to me, the 360 era is probably more defined by Call of Duty 4.
see,
COD
yeah, for me,
4
it's
was
like that's when COD really blew up.
that
right?
was when COD became the COD that it is now. Like
Yeah,
COD 4.
yeah. I would also
Huge.
my brain goes to like BioShock, Red Dead,
Halo 3
BioShock
for
was
me.
amazing. BioShock was amazing.
Grand Theft Auto 4 was like the first Grand Theft Auto on an Xbox. Means something.
Even though it played like molasses.
Oh, it drives like shit.
God, it's disgusting. It's such a disgusting game. I hated the way it played.
I know.
I was so hyped for GTA 4 because I loved Grand Theft Auto 3 on PlayStation 2 and I loved Vice City. San Andreas I was okay on, but I loved Vice City.
San Andreas was the one I was allowed to buy. My mom.
Oh,
played it.
really?
Yeah. So I have
Amazing.
a deep love for it.
Well, I was hyped for GTA 4. Like, I was lining up in April 2008. I got the collector's edition with the lockbox and everything. I was like all in on GTA 4. I'm like, okay. And then I played it. I'm like, why does this feel like this? Why does it feel so
terrible to play?
sluggish and gross?
And why does my cousin always want to go bowling?
Yeah, and you know, I tried it again on Series X because it's 60 frames on Series X. Still doesn't feel that much better. It's something that's core to the way that, I don't know if it's the engine and the animations that it forces and it can't break its animations. I don't know what it is, but even at 60, the game doesn't feel that much better. That's how bad it plays. Like, it's just bonkers.
Yeah,
Like,
GTA 5 is similar. 60 FPS
is,
helps.
isn't it?
But the gameplay, the way it feels to play the game, they might create the best open world systems, and same with Red
Great
Dead.
graphics.
They just feel not fun to play. The last Rockstar game that felt good to play was Max Payne 3.
Yeah.
Table tennis.
Table tennis. Fantastic.
Did you play that Rockstar table tennis game?
2,
Oh,
I played table tennis. That was good.
Table
If you
tennis
ever-
was...
Oh, so wait, I'm amongst friends by saying Red Dead 2 is overrated.
Yes.
no.
Yeah. Red Dead
haven't played
Redemption
it.
1 is one of my favorite
I
games
haven't
of
played
all
it.
time. Red Dead 1 is like my favorite game of all time, and I understand why, like, there's like a Last of Us, The Last of Us 2 so divisive amongst fans. I get it, because I want to, like, with Red Dead 2, I was like, this is it. I'm gonna love what's going on. This is Tombstone. This is the movie Tombstone. There's nothing. The world's beautiful, but I have seen this story before. This is boring. Same shooting from the original. All right, we're doing this. Okay.
It's Red Dead 2
40 hours.
really doesn't feel great on controller, especially with their 30 frames per second. It controls really well on PC with mouse and keyboard. And I've run into
was not my, like,
that.
It was just that story, man. I love the Native American portion. Like, that story was like, I actually thought you should have dived into that. But the other stuff, like, believe me, I got a plan. Dutch, come on, man, you're on your 7th one. After the 3rd one, I'm like, 3 strikes, you're out, Dutch. Your charisma can only take you this far.
You know what annoys me about Rockstar?
I'm not going to go to Panama and get tuberculosis for you.
I would probably love Rockstar's games if they played well. Like, I'm sure I'd fully get into GTA 5 and GTA 4 and any future GTAs if they played well. Like, every other open world game does it better. Like, gameplay-wise. Sleeping Dogs. I mean, I don't know if any of you played Sleeping Dogs, but Sleeping Dogs was actually a really good game.
Yeah.
God, even Crackdown feels better than Grand Theft Auto.
Let's not get crazy. But like
Crackdown
with Red Dead 1,
better to play.
like I was number 256 in the world on that online. I thought the online portion was amazing. It was immaculate. And then Red Dead Online comes out, and it's just a shell of its former self. None of it feels good at all. And goddamn it, if I have to build one more goddamn base in a game that's not Cult of the Lamb, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go nuts. Gonna go absolutely nuts. Couldn't even do it with the Last of Us multiplayer where they're all only tadpoles. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't need this in my game. Yeah.
So after that massive tangent,
Sorry.
No, that was probably my fault. He's got Forza Horizon 4 for Xbox One. I've got Titanfall.
Sea of Thieves.
Titanfall.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
I'm all Titanfall.
I mean,
Titanfall's
Titanfall
great, but Titanfall died. Sea of Thieves is their biggest selling IP. It still is huge now. It changed how Rare work. Incredible.
Yeah. Sunset Overdrive.
Oh,
God, I hope Sony does something with that.
I pray every day.
And I hope Microsoft is like, you guys want Sunset Overdrive remastered? Okay.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can have it. I would gladly take Sunset Overdrive remastered on PS5. Bundle it with Sunset Overdrive 2. Oh. And strip away the multiplayer.
Just give me it.
Strip away the multiplayer because the multiplayer was stupid. But that core game, I prefer it to Spider-Man. I mean, you can see where Spider-Man got its foundation from in Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, definitely.
But, Sunset Overdrive. God, that game was fun.
It was great.
I just got it on my Steam Deck.
Except for the defending stuff sections. I hate defending things. Don't maybe do
Yeah, I know. They weren't the best. But because the weapons were so cool and the combat options were so good, they weren't as arduous as they are in other games.
Sure.
They were more enjoyable in Sunset Overdrive through the sheer nature of the fact that you could have this fully powered up crazy gun where you just hold down that trigger and stuff just starts flying out and everything and just killing everything on the screen. It was so good.
Yeah.
Such a good game.
What would you think, like, from the games we see now, since we've tackled each gen, when we get to the series, what do you think is going to be that defining game? For what we see
Perfect
now.
Dark. Perfect Dark.
Think Perfect Dark?
I would probably say Hellblade 2 is going to turn a few heads.
That's what I'm thinking, too. I think Hellblade 2.
But
I say this on every Xbox show. I'm sorry. Go for it.
No, go on.
No, I say this on every Xbox show I'm on. The acquisitions that have excited me the most are Ninja Theory and Obsidian, because those two are a talented developer, incredibly talented, that now have a buku amount of money to just spend. And now you're going to really see, like, Hellblade is going to... I loved the first one. I finally got to get into it. It's oh my god, it's so freaking good. So just to see what they can do now with a AAA budget, that's gonna impress people.
It's exactly what I always said. Ninja Theory. I'm like, Ninja Theory is the one that excites me because look at what they do on shoestring budgets.
Yeah.
Imagine what they do with a big budget. Like, I actually was one of the few people that liked Heavenly Sword. It was one of the first games I got on my PS3. Hellblade was really good. Ninja Theory, yeah, Heavenly Sword was... The combat was... You could tell that they were just sort of still getting the hang of doing decent combat. They kind of had that down pat by DMC because DMC played really well. A lot of people ragged on Hellblade's combat, and I'm not sure why. It felt fine to me.
It was a bit repetitive, much like Rise maybe was. But that
doesn't make it bad.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was just, I guess I would use the phrase one note. But what I really, really liked was the bringing the whole psychology of Senua into it. When you hear behind you, and that was your. It wasn't a big red flash. That was your indication to actually smash that block button and catch that guy who. It felt really good to play.
And I would
expand on that. Oh.
Yeah, and I feel like with the first Hellblade, because they were on a shoestring budget, that the combat wasn't the main focus. It was
not at all.
Atmospheric storytelling. You're on this roller coaster. I think that was the thing. And if you're looking for them for what their pedigree was this combat, I can understand why it maybe felt or one note or repetitive, but I think the story was what they wanted to tell.
Yes,
they
correct.
focus on. And it, amazing.
Yeah, but I think Perfect Dark. Just everything I keep hearing about Perfect Dark, and if they can pull all that stuff off and it looks nice and this, that, the other, Perfect Dark's going to be...
Perfect Dark mechanically, yeah. Like if they really do set out to do what what the design docs, reportedly suggested they wanted to do with changing how an FPS can really feel to play.
Like I said, that John Wick stuff I was talking about, that's what I got told. I got told, think John Wick style combat in first person. Or think Mirror's Edge, but a bit more fleshed out and a bit more... Like, I was like, man, that sounds... If they pull that off, God, that's going to be so good.
Yeah.
So good. If they pull it off, it could also turn out to be a complete disaster. Who the hell knows?
Yes, we'll find out.
But I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. Okay, Jesse brother. Hail. Happy 20th of August. Or 21st if you're Nick. What's the significance of that? Why is it happy 20th of August? Joe, I did some advanced scouting and checked out your last couple of podcasts and was rather impressed.
Oh, God. Okay.
Why? Oh, God.
I don't know. I feel like a butt is in the way, but let's go. Let's do this.
No. I was rather impressed, especially with your takes on PlayStation bringing games to PC and about the PlayStation/Xbox Brazil controversy situation. You definitely aren't just guys that pander to your audience. You have your console of choice, and that is PlayStation. Very fair. We need more guys like you, and less like, I'll be nice and not drop names, but they rhyme with Fallen and Dustpan and Piss Ray Gun.
Oh, damn. Shots fired. Okay. I'll take that compliment.
Is that like, I should be pronouncing that in an American way and call it Fallen? Fallen?
No, I
which
think
sounds like someone else's name.
I think, I think that's good.
Yeah, because Fallen, like the name Colin, in like Fallen is Fallen and Colin is Colin, but when you put an American accent on it, it's Fallen and Carlin.
Yeah,
so
Carlin.
It's the same. See, so because Jesse Brother is American, he's like Fallen.
Yeah,
but I'm Australian, so it becomes Fallen.
I'm always just jealous of like how you guys are able to take apart the American accent so well, and like all we got is like, oh, chimney sweep. Oh, what's all this? And, like,
did you watch our last episode? What the?
You guys are crushing it. You guys are crushing it. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for the kind words. The one thing that we try to do different, because there's so many great PlayStation podcasts out there is that we don't claim to be the experts. We don't claim to be the encyclopedia of PlayStation. We are truly trying to just bring it through a fan's perspective, while understanding that though I cover PlayStation, I am not Mr. PlayStation. I'm gonna play my Xbox. I'm gonna play Sea of Thieves after this. I'm gonna on my Xbox. I'm going to play Splatoon 3 down the road.
Mm-hmm. I am definitely not Mr. Xbox.
I don't know why you're on this show, honestly.
Like, that's the thing. It's just like we're just fans of this ecosystem, and we're trying to bring something thoughtful. We're not trying to be like cheerleaders, though. We're going to have our preferences on certain things, maybe a controller layout, whatever. We're going to try to bring in different perspectives. So I'm not here to cheerlead. PlayStation doesn't give me any copies of jack shit. So like I'm not, I'm here with you guys, experiencing it with y'all and trying to bring different perspectives in. So like you'll see a lot of Xbox folks on our shows, like Miles and such, because we just want that different conversation. Too much of it's like, well, this way Xbox it sucks. No, they're great. They're doing the best they've ever done. They're going to continue being really great. Same with PlayStation. Same with Nintendo. It's just bring the appreciation while trying to bring something thoughtful. So I'm glad that you picked up on that so far.
Yeah. He also says, P.S. Hope your co-host's sliced thumb is doing better.
Oh God, no! God, no! He told me that, and it's God. No, I don't like that. He keeps on hurting himself.
Oh, really?
He right before the show, he and I hate that. I hate any type of injury, and he knows that. So he's gonna
any type of injury. Oof.
Like, well, that involves like blades. I'm not about that life. Yeah. I'm not about that life.
I can tell you one. I can tell you a story that makes you really uncomfortable.
I'm good. No, I think I'm fine.
So yeah,
all right, okay.
Jesse, brother, next time take my Australian accent into account, because I say fallen. I don't say fallen.
I'm very surprised it was them and not like other ones. That's all.
I wouldn't even know any other ones.
I actually don't know. I don't know what Dustpan and Piss Raygun are actually referring to.
Chris Raygun, I think. Is that right? Chris Raygun?
No idea.
And Dustpan. Is that Dustin? Dustin?
Yeah, Dustin. Yeah.
Dustin. Okay. There is this one other PlayStation guy that has a YouTube channel. He's really good. What's his name?
Mystic?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mystic. He's really good.
He's one of the rare ones that I quite admire on the YouTube side.
I like him. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Just straight up. And it's not...
Just straight up.
It's nice. For us as well, the one thing we constantly do is we're not focused, like we're not a YouTube show. We just happen to be on YouTube. All of our focus is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. So like when I glance at like the YouTube stuff, oh man, I pray for y'all because it's
the comment section on YouTube. God bless it.
Yeah. So many death threats. It's great.
Oh God, yeah.
Fight the same place.
Oh boy.
Not like this chat. Y'all have been great.
Yeah, our chat's lovely. We've got good moderators and basically a fantastic community. So we're quite lucky in that.
We've only made one mistake moderating, and it only haunted me for like a month.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But people
really, it still haunts me, and I didn't even do it, and it haunts me. My God, how good would it be if adults were just adults? That'd be awesome.
Nice.
It'd be wild.
It'll be nice,
and they weren't like high school children. That'd be the best.
It would be
so good.
Nice.
Proven. Hello, panel. My question is specifically for Joe. I consider myself a casual PlayStation fan. I have a PS5, but only really use it for their first-party games, even when I really haven't loved their first-party offerings in a while. I miss the PS3 era of variety. Yeah, so do I. Yeah. Anyways, my question is for someone more knowledgeable than I about PlayStation. Oh, me, whatever. 1. Do you like PlayStation's move into games as a service? From the outside looking in, it seems the company is slowly but surely transitioning itself away from one and done single player games. I wouldn't say they're transitioning away per se. It will take many years for this to become a reality, but I think most of Sony's first-party games will eventually have some sort of live service implementation. 2. Do you think this is the right direction for Sony? Games as a service games are hard, and none of their devs outside of Bungie really have experience making multiplayer games, Guerrilla excluded. And making a live service game adds extra challenges. I'm curious to see where Sony is in 5 years as they face more competition than ever before and an ever-evolving industry. Thanks.
Great question. This is what is so exciting about PlayStation right now for me, is that there are so many unknowns, and for the first time in a very long time, it's not to say it's unsafe, right? Like they can be. I think we have them at a lack of better words, vulnerable to the future. Right, where the last generation, every year you were expecting one of their games to be in the Game of the Year conversation. It's going to sell 8 to 10 million units. It's going to do really well. It's going to get all the eyes on it. And now you're seeing with games like Fortnite, games like Call of Duty, games like Halo Infinite, right? These games as service games that are being built from different publishers starting to take off. Xbox being one with, like Sea of Thieves and Halo and all that jazz. Sony needs to be a part of that because games are getting more and more crazy expensive to make. So they need these service games to kind of supplement those one and dones. Definitely. Right. So when I think about, or what we talked about a little earlier, they have 10 in the oven. How many of them are about to take off? I'm really thinking they're thinking 1 or 2 they're banking on to really take off. Which one of those games are they gonna, or is it gonna be? I don't know. I like what I've heard about like the Last of Us multiplayer stuff. That actually has me really excited. Seems something different. Like think of like the Dark Zone, what it could have been with Division. So that gets me really excited. When it comes to their developers, I think the thing that excites me about PlayStation is that seemingly they kind of get to do, not to say what they want, but they get a level of freedom that I don't see other publishers like Ubisoft necessarily handing. So, or having. So I think, PlayStation probably walks up to the studio going, "Hey, we want a multiplayer game. What do you want to cook up?" And they start testing from there. Again, no insider information, just how I feel in my gut. So when I think about the PlayStation lineup or developers, to me it's not about like, oh well, Last of Us has never done a big multiplayer game. Well, they have. Last of Us Factions is fantastic. Really love that multiplayer. So they could build on that and make it a little bit bigger. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Uncharted 4's multiplayer was okay.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't mind it.
Uncharted 2's multiplayer was great. I really love that one. But like they have done some multiplayer stuff in previous, but take developers like Guerrilla, known for first person shooters, did a RPG and it's one of my favorites. They can go off the beaten path and hit. It's just about the vision that they're going after. It captures the wider audience and really takes off. That's what I think is going to be the biggest challenge, is when those games come out, what does the field look like? Because as we talked about like Halo Infinite, I mean, look at the field. Can they really allow for many more mistakes or things to be cooked in the oven for a bit longer now that you have Apex in Call of Duty, you have Apex, the most popular it's ever been. Fortnite gets, these viral crossovers each and every week, it seems. And then Call of Duty's got Warzone 2 cooking up. And if that takes off, where does a game like Halo fall? You have to think about that in terms of, okay, when PlayStation has their games as service game, what's it going up against? There's going to be so much competition. And that's the thing that really worries me. It's not so much what developers going to handle it, because I trust them all. It's really, what does the market look like, and how much room for error is there, if that whole rant made sense.
No, it makes total sense. And that's the problem. Like, their live service games that they're looking at, they could all be great games in isolation.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean they're going to get a foothold
exactly
in the market.
And what platforms are they going to be on?
If they're only on one, games as a service is going to struggle.
It's
No,
gonna be.
that-
It's gonna.
They have to be the day one PC games. They have to be. They have to be the day one PC.
The other thing is, are these games free to play? If it's a $70 entry for that Last of Us multiplayer, that is a harder sell because it's like, okay, $70 may work for your one and dones, but Fortnite's a ton of fun and it's free. Same with Rocket League, same with all these games. So like, same with Warzone. So again, it's how they enter.
To Battlefield.
Rip. I love Battlefield so much.
But look what happened to 2042 though. They charged full price for something that was a multiplayer only games as a service game, and
so I think that's really the where are they entering, or when they're entering, what the quote unquote price is for it. Those things are going to be the big indicators of where they launch at. That's going to be the big indicator. The thing that has me hopeful is like they're buying out companies like Bungie that deal with the monetization stuff and tools so that they don't have to do that themselves. That's what gets me a little hopeful.
Well, I mean,
making the right move
Bungie laid the foundation for what Xbox Live is now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Sony is hoping they can do something similar for them and their live service games going forward. Like the not the hooks, but like the core of what we know of Xbox Live now started with Halo 2 and Bungie. That's how it all started, effectively, for all intents and purposes. So I'm sure that was a big reason Sony purchased them. Of all those new studios making a live service game, which one do you reckon you are excited about the most? Because obviously we haven't seen anything yet. You're going purely on studio reputation or whatever.
Yeah. I think Haven has me a little intrigued because God knows what that thing is. You know, you have some talented producers behind those projects, but what is that game going to be? It could be like a dream scenario where you're building.
I was going to say Haven.
Whatever.
I was going to say Haven as well.
Or it could be something more action focused and less creative. So there's a lot of possibilities, and also the tools that they're working with as well. That it seems like Sony was very attracted by as well when it comes to their streaming platform and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that actually has me really excited more than anything.
Yeah. No idea if that game's going to be successful, but in terms of just what the game is, I reckon Haven's one will be the one to watch out for.
Yeah.
I reckon. Okay, last two questions. Creaky Legs. Hello, lads. With Death Stranding coming to PC Game Pass next week, which is exciting because I just finished Spider-Man on PC, and that game was incredible, spectacular even, at the very least, amazing. Do you think Sony will self-publish all of their games going forward on PC? I imagine third-party publishers like 505 wouldn't want the PC rights to Sony games if it came with a ton of red tape around it, like no Game Pass or other services outside Steam, Epic, or Sony-approved PC platforms. They want to make as much money on their investments and have as many options to continue to make money on that investment. Whether Sony is happy with their choices is irrelevant. Well, we sort of talked about this before. Like I said, I fully expect Sony to have their own PC launcher. Like their own thing, whether it's like GOG or like Bethesda's or like Blizzard's or like they will have their own launcher, so that way it's all contained within, and they will give, because again, like there's no point Sony having their own PC launcher if they're not going to give people benefits to using it. So there's really only two possible benefits Sony can include that will incentivize people buying games in their ecosystem: cross-buy, cross-save, and trophies.
Yep.
They are the only things. So their PC launcher effectively has to launch with those three things. Otherwise, what's the point? You may as well just release it on Epic and Steam, include a PlayStation login to get your MAU every month and say, well, we have this many people playing on PC because you need the PSN login. So there's
and again, think about those live service games as well.
Yeah. So they will have their own launcher and they will want everyone in there. So they're going to give people as many reasons as possible to buy within PlayStation's ecosystem. Not on Steam's, not on Epic's, theirs. Whether that be on a PS5 and then they play it on PC through their launcher, or on their PC launcher and then they can play it on PS5. But yeah, That's what I am fully expecting them to do. But I'm guessing they really want to get those games as a service games out there to hurry up and
Bring that
because
to-
again, there's just not enough there now for a PC launcher. Like we said
And I
before,
would
they've got like 5
probably
games.
expect those, and maybe Nick, you can chime in if you know anything I don't. That you probably do. That those live service games, probably you need that launcher. Like you're probably not going to be able to play it on Steam or Epic. That's probably a thing that's going to be the driver for that app.
Well, yeah, especially something like Last of Us, that would be a massive driver of people towards their own launcher.
And just for them to not give people the information of how many people are actually playing it, because how many of those goddamn thumbnails you see on YouTube, Halo's out of the top 20 on Steam. I bet they want to avoid those things as well.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like, because back when you were talking about if the Last of Us multiplayer thing is potentially $70, having cross-buy softens that blow as well.
Sure, yeah.
So if it's $70, but $70 does get me 2 copies.
Yeah.
Then it's...
And I mean, they're testing it too with Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer being only $20 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic multiplayer.
Is it?
Yeah, I love it. I love dumb, simple wave-based stuff. That's always my jam.
Okay, fair enough. Like Horde. Like Gears Horde.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, last question. Good old Collingwood. I wonder if he's going to the footy today. I wonder. Big game, sold out, expecting 100,000 people at this football game. Whew. It's going to be big. Okay, good old Collingwood. Hello, John, Nick, Jesse, and welcome, MrBadBit. I just got back from Japan. My Metacritic score of COVID-19 is 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. We've all played bad games.
Oh, I thought he avoided it. But he got it.
No. He got COVID, so he got stuck in Japan. We've all played bad games. Games where we went in expecting the best, but unfortunately didn't meet the needs and wants of the general gaming community. And he's got here, when I talk about a bad game, I'm talking about games that are generally looked unfavorably by the gaming public, not games that you personally do not like. So all developers don't go in looking to create a bad game. There is a vision for a game a developer has, and everyone dreams that their game will become the next Among Us or Rocket League. So if no one goes out the liberty to make a bad game, why do bad games still get made? And what can be done to make less bad games? That's a loaded question, and I reckon the answer to that question is simpler than people think. Budget. Budget's a big one. And talent. Like, in the end, and I feel like this is something that never gets discussed, and I don't know why. There are some developers that are just more talented than others. Same way there's some athletes that are more talented than others. There's, like... Not everyone is created equal. That's just the reality of life. Like, there's an animator out there, there's a video game animator out there who's the best one, and there's a video game animator out there who's the worst one. And the studio that owns that guy or girl that's the best one, they're probably going to have slightly better games. Like, talent plays a big role. And that's why we just talked about Sony bought Bungie, because Bungie probably have some of the best network engineers, live service tech guys going around. Sony doesn't have those. What Sony has in ICE and Santa Monica and Naughty Dog is amazing artists and amazing animators and amazing... That's what Sony has. So Sony will be going, well, okay, what if we compare our stuff with Bungie stuff and see what we can create? Nintendo probably has not every developer is created equally. So bad games are probably born mostly from studios that maybe just aren't that talented, combined with having low budgets.
Yeah, I think as well.
Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think bad games, I personally feel, get made when developers aren't allowed to just do what they need to do. And it's usually it's constrained by it's got to be out by this date. It's got to be
That's
shipped
another
by
aspect.
here. Oh no, you can't pursue that design goal. Yeah, but I think it's unique. I think it's great. Now, developers should be trusted a little bit, like less design by committee, because we've seen that kind of that tropey. Look at map games now. Like, I don't even call them open world games. I call them map games now. Right, because there are certain design elements that just come into play now that are accepted in all open world games
and expected,
right? And they can become a little bit one note and a little bit boring because of it. And I think every generation, and I don't feel like we've had last gen, it was battle royales. But there's every gen. There's always seems to be a game that does something new, like the big new thing. And I don't think we've yet seen now one, but the way that those kind of games come about is by letting developers just do what they need to do. And I think that is a combination of good management and infinite resources. So it goes back to your original answer as well, Nick.
Yeah. Resources, good management. I think a good vision. And I mean, it goes back to scope too. Like, there are some games that try to tackle way too much and it succeeds at none of it. So yeah, it comes down to a lot of things, I think. But I think
there's a lot of aspects. There's a lot of aspects to it. I still think ultimately talent is at the core of it.
Sure.
Like, I look at a game like, what's that game that everyone keeps memeing about on PlayStation 4? Life, the Black Tiger one.
Yeah, the Black Tiger.
Now you look at a game like that, right? That wasn't beholden to deadlines from major publishers. That wasn't constrained in any real way. Maybe those devs it was just them, bunch of guys trying something out and creating something on a budget, and that's what they could come up with. Like, it was just... Yeah. But then you see Bright Memory Infinite, made by one person, and it looks, visually at least, just to look at it, almost looks like a AAA production from one person.
Yeah.
So clearly that one person has a ton of talent. Like, they just have an incredible ability. Imagine if you could get that person and put a studio around them and give them a budget. You think, wow, what are the possibilities there?
But then it's there's this extra decision. Oh, if you considered this, oh, we can't do that, and then suddenly
so
that.
Yeah, there are some developers that are really good at that solo team or handful of teams, and then they get a little bit bigger and they start kind of crumbling within that weight, because there may be a really great designer, but they're I keep off. Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, you curse.
Yeah, all right. They're a shitty manager, right?
Yeah.
So like that's something to consider. It's a whole aspect of things.
There's so much stuff.
But yeah, you can't always have like an acid nerve or a devolver that seemingly just gets it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was going to say, I feel like what Joe was alluding to, the bigger the team gets,
the harder it is.
Maybe the more cooks in the kitchen, and all of a sudden things get messier.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Death's Door. Was that last year?
Yeah.
Yes.
What a out of nowhere, one of the best games of the year. Absolutely beautiful to play, sublime to play. You look at Tunic.
Artful Escape.
I'm all for AAA games for spectacle, but AAA games more and more try and tell me a story, and I don't mind being told a story, but video game stories are stupid. Primarily, right? Okay, if I want to watch a movie, I'll go watch a movie.
I'll watch a movie.
Right? The thing that those little games do is they know exactly what they are, and they concentrate on how they feel to play, and then they build a world around it, and they use the medium of video games to tell their story. Tons of examples of it. It Takes Two, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, BioShock. All of those are using narrative and gameplay together. When you are not doing that,
Tunic does it well.
Yeah, but when you're not doing that, when your idea of using gameplay and narrative together is a QTE,
don't make that face.
When it's a QTE, it's not. That isn't gameplay. That's just pressing a damn button. You know?
It's the one thing why, like, I love the first Horizon. Love it. Horizon Forbidden West, also a great game, but you know, I think Nick, what you said, like designed by committee. I'm like, yep, that's a. I see that yellow box and where I need to drag it, right? I see the yellow legend where I need to jump to. It's that's the problem, which I think more and more AAAs are getting, which is because they're so big, because they're so expensive, they can't take the risks. So they'll let the little teams do it, and they'll take those little aspects into their games and make it bigger. So yeah, that's why like so many indies right now are shining.
Yeah, but see, that's funny. I actually think I feel like Sony in particular is in a position where they can take more risks within their established IPs because they have that those credits in the bank. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they don't need to go, oh, well, we have to follow this formula that Ubisoft laid out because, you know, look how successful Ubisoft's games are. So we have, but I don't think they need to do that. Like when I liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I haven't played Forbidden West yet. I liked Zero Dawn, and I was disappointed by how restrictive it was for an open world game. So many invisible walls, so many, you can only climb here, and this is the only spot you can climb. I know that rock looks like you can climb it, but nope, you have to climb right here. That sort of stuff is what disappointed me in Zero Dawn. It was just, it was something that was impeding. They opened it up quite a bit
in Forbidden West, where you can definitely, there's a lot more like anchor points to jump onto. For sure. Okay. But I understand where you're getting. Yeah, it is a lot of. There's a yellow line over there. They do something path. They do something because it's a Death engine. They have the Death Stranding like scanner, so you can see all the points you can jump onto. Always think that's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. We'll have to give it a go at some stage.
Yeah, but as I'm getting older, gentlemen. Like, I love Cult of the Land. It's really become like gameplay is king, man. Like, I love Ghost of Tsushima because goddamn, that game just feels so damn good. I love Returnal because damn, that game is just so fun to play. And then, you know, you're stuck trying to buy that one goddamn sigil for like 3 hours because you want that platinum. 3 goddamn hours. Just
gameplay
is always gameplay is king.
I always loved Santa Monica. That's why I always loved the OG God of Wars. Because somehow those OG God of Wars looked incredible for their time. Like God of War 3 completely holds up. But they didn't sacrifice the gameplay in those OG God of Wars. They were still felt tight. I love that you could just block cancel and all those. I fell in love with those original God of War games. Not that God of War 2018 is not great. It is. Yeah. Like I've said 100 times, it was my 2018 game of the year. Likewise. But it still didn't quite have that tightness that those 3 or 4, because of Ascension, those 4 original ones had. I still yearn for those hack and slash God of Wars to come back. Love them. Yeah. Love them. They were so good. But yeah, that's it.
That's a wrap.
Although we do have a couple of final super chats.
Oh, go on.
We got Bob Lopel with a $10 super chat. This is my first time live to this podcast. Thank you for making my overnight job better. Also, I was wrong about Last Man Standing. I never thought an IP owned by Sony would come to PC Game Pass. I think he meant to say Death Stranding. Must have auto-corrected on him when he said Death Stranding. It would have done an iPhone or an Android auto-correct. Okay. Oh, yeah, the last Super Chat's an interesting one, and we almost forgot. Widya Santosho, leave this for the end. Is MrBadBit into Friends?
The show? The show Friends?
Yes.
Friends is good. It's a good show.
Yes.
Is it the best show? Is Friends better than Seinfeld? No.
Yes. No.
I've had this argument. I had this conversation. And a friend of mine said, "Dude," because I've just finished a complete Friends run through. Yeah. It was background music while I was playing a certain video game that isn't really about playing. So I was like, I need something new. He's like, try Seinfeld. I was like, okay. I missed it.
Seinfeld's good.
I was on the Frasier. was on the Frasier train. I did Friends, but I missed Seinfeld. So I put on the first episode, and the first episode is the true pilot. Man, it's like watching a VHS tape from 30 years ago. I was like, God, this is horrific. But I'm like 2 episodes in, and I get it.
Seinfeld's good. It is good. I did a Seinfeld marathon during lockdown because we couldn't leave the house. Yeah. So we're like, well, there's 10 seasons or 9 seasons of Seinfeld to get through. Let's go through those. Because I had only ever seen Seinfeld sporadically. Episode here, episode there. I had never just gone, bang, start to finish. So we did it. We did start to finish. Seinfeld's good. I see why it became the show. It became as renowned as it was.
Yeah.
I still put Friends above it myself.
In terms of sitcoms, like Seinfeld has influenced so many. So like, and like I love Curb. So like, God, I love Curb. So like, I love those types of shows. I love Always Sunny. So like, I think about those shows. I'm like, yeah, it's Seinfeld just because it's the blueprint. Where like Friends is great. You got the Monica stuck in the turkey head thing. That's fine. I forget that Paul Rudd was in it, and he still looks like he does today. Which is nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts.
But like, so like, it's a good show. It really is, and that lasts the test of time. But like, how many Friends shows are there? I don't know. And maybe someone with the sitcom podcast is gonna tell me I'm dumb. But
no, a lot tried. See, that's the thing. So since Seinfeld and Friends, basically that's what happened. Sitcoms became 2 things. So we had the show about anything and nothing that Seinfeld spawned, that genre of sitcom, and then Friends spawned the Friends sitcoms that are about friends hanging out and what they do, like Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, and How I Met Your Mother,
so good.
And all those shows were the spawn of Friends because they're about friends and their lives together and what they do every day. Seinfeld spawned your Curbs and your Always Sunnies and your Parks and Rec and your all of those.
See, that's the true question for me, because like the true question is, what's better, The Office or Parks and Rec? I don't know what to tell you. They're both phenomenal.
Would you believe I've never really watched either of those? Damn. I've watched a couple of episodes of each.
You've watched the British Office, right?
I've seen a bit of both, British and US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Steve Carell's funny, but...
Yes, the Office, the US Office humor leans a bit more in my direction. Like, despite being Australian, I lean more towards the US humor than I do the UK humor. Fair. A lot of that UK humor, for me, a lot of that British humor, it's very specific. And if it doesn't hit dead on, then it really misses. Where the US humor is a bit more shotgun, and it's more likely to get you even if it's not the funniest joke in the world. It still might get a chuckle out of you. Where that British humor is laser focused, and if it doesn't land...
If you didn't land, it's because you're an idiot.
It misses by a long way if it doesn't land.
See, that's the thing. I do love British humor. I love how dry and direct it is.
Exactly. That's like Faulty Towers. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago or last week. Go watch it if you've never seen it. It's a really old school. Trust me, it's one of the best British comedies ever made. There's only 12 episodes. It would take you could do it in a day, easy. But one recent one that really cracked me up, that surprised me at how much I laughed at it, and this is I guess it's traditionally known as a bit of a girls' show, is Fleabag. I don't know if anyone has seen that.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's surprisingly dark and amusing. So yeah. British humor, we love a bit of it.
Did you watch what's it called? Oh my god, it's one of my favorite comedies now, and I've forgotten it. It was just a recent one with the 2 girls in New York. Sorry,
Bluey.
Bluey's.
Oh, Broad City.
Broad City. Yes. How good's Broad City?
Broad City is chaos. I love it. Yeah.
Broad City is really funny. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like right up there. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's incredible.
I don't know. I find I never laugh at those shows.
Nah, I do. See, where the British comedy lands for me more is in movies than TV shows. Generally, when I see British movies or when I see Brits in American movies, the humour lands better in the movies than for me than it does in the TV shows. Stuff like Lock, Stock, Snatch, The Gentleman.
Oh. Do you know what I watched the other night? Which you got to see it if you haven't. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet with Nick Cage.
Bro, go watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Go watch it.
I haven't seen it yet.
As a big Nick Cage fan, especially when he's in a terrible movie, right? I just love him. It is a movie about Nick Cage meeting with a fan of Nick Cage because he's poor. And he like revisits a bunch of old roles. It's got loads of references to like the stuff he's done in the past. And Pedro Pascal in it as well. And honestly, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, it surprised the hell out of me because I was like, this is either going to be a really bad Nick Cage movie or a really good Nick Cage movie about really bad Nick Cage movies. It was the latter. Really loved it. 100% definitely.
He has a wild career.
Oh, that's what they make fun of.
There's a generation of kids that I say kids, but I wouldn't even be surprised if Joe's one of them. There's a generation of people who don't even know that Nick Cage is an Oscar-winning actor.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, most people just know him as this terrible actor in terrible movies. Nah, man, this guy's won an Academy Award. Like, he's at his best. He was actually an incredible actor at his best. But
Rock.
something happened. Yeah, like something happened in his career. I don't know what choice he made. I don't know what turn happened. I don't know if it was Ghost Rider. I don't know if it was
National
I don't know
Treasure.
what it was. National Treasure. I don't know what, but something turned, and all of a sudden his career, like, you know, Raising Arizona, he was in.
Yeah.
8mm. Did you ever see 8mm?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a movie!
He's been in some absolutely brilliant films, and he is a terrific actor. And
He is.
Have you seen Pig?
No, I heard great things about Pig.
Surprisingly, like you can see he's acting his nuts off. I
Can I tell a quick joke right here, right now?
Always.
I was okay. So I was in a conversation with my brother and my best friend, and my brother's trying to describe a Nick Cage movie. He can't think of the name. He's like, it's about the famous, like the gun runner where he's selling all the weapons, and it's
Lord of War.
Lord of War.
And he goes, it's based on a true story. And my best friend, without skipping a beat, after he said based on a true story, she goes, whoa. National Treasure.
Oh man!
National
did you pause for a moment and be like,
I've never laughed harder in my life.
my God!
How good is Lord of War?
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that movie. Oh my God, that movie's amazing. And
that was when Jared
great.
Leto was good.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he was even great in Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
as like a fake Batman.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see, his accent threw me off. Kick-Ass, yeah.
He was great in Kick. Like,
fantastic.
He's got this crazy career where he can be the worst actor on earth, but also the best actor on earth. Like,
he talks a little bit about it in the film. He just likes to work.
Okay,
it's like a job. And
even Con Air. I loved Con Air. How good's Con Air?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they reference that.
Look at Jesse. What are you doing?
Joke.
Stop making that face.
You know what?
Con Air is a great film. Con Air is so
one of the
good.
worst things I've ever watched.
No, they make
No.
the film that I watched had the best joke about Con Air in it. Right? I don't want to spoil it, but I also really want to.
I'm
spoil the
texting
joke.
my best friend right now. I'm like, we're watching this tomorrow.
Con Air is so
It
good.
opens with Con Air. I got this money for you, baby.
Yeah, put the money back in the
Right, and he's
box.
trying to give the money to the little girl, and then some people come in and kidnap them, and then that kicks off the plot. But the joke for that bit lands about 90 minutes later on, and then you're like, honestly, I was cracking up.
Don't
It
get me
was
wrong.
so
His
funny.
accent is horrible in Con Air. Don't get me wrong.
Brilliant. That's what I love about Nick Cage.
That's not one of his better roles per se, but that's still a fantastic movie. Con Air is still a great movie.
Cara was the prom queen.
His accent is atrocious in it.
About that best. Yeah.
That's Con Air, man.
Now the Rock,
so
the Rock
good.
is peak Nick Cage. The Rock and Face Off.
I don't know, man.
Face
Off.
Face Off.
Face
Yeah,
Off.
mate, honestly.
How good is Face Off? He
look,
goes all out. He just starts chewing the scenery. Like he's like bugger it. He just goes nuts in Face Off. But
perfection.
I can't believe I forgot Lord of War. God,
Yeah,
that is such a genuinely fantastic movie.
It is.
Lord of War.
Is.
Loved it.
And hey, Sandman
more super
was
chat.
great. Sandman was great.
Sandman.
Netflix.
The TV show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet. We want to start it. We watched Day Shift.
Enjoyed it.
Watched Day
I
Shift
watched
last
Day
night.
Shift. Had a good laugh with it. I enjoyed it.
It was good.
It was stupid.
I didn't mind it. Yeah,
it's fun.
It was dumb fun. It was good. It was fun. Like when he killed that old lady at the start, and I'm like, then the head vampire comes in. I thought, okay, that's her mum or her grandmother. No, it was not her mum or her grandmother.
Yeah.
It was her daughter.
Yeah.
Even though she looked 1,000 years old.
Mental.
It was good.
Fun.
And Snoop Dogg was in it. And Snoop Dogg was hamming it up. And Dave Franco was really good. I like Dave Franco in Day Shift.
See, I've been watching a lot of serious stuff, so I I watch Blackbird on Apple TV and Banner Under Heaven. So I need something like that's gonna make.
Is Blackbird good? I've been meaning to watch it.
Really, really good, man. Holy crap!
Okay. You watch Physical?
No, but I only hear that's another one I gotta get into.
Watch Physical. Physical's really Rose Byrne's great in that. Physical's gets very dark too. I know it doesn't look it because it's all about the glitzy 80s and the workout world and nah, man, Physical gets dark. Like it's full on. Apple TV's got some fantastic
It really
stuff.
does. It really does. It may not have a huge library, but what's there is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're the first streaming service to win an Oscar, aren't they? For Best Picture?
Oh, really?
With Coda. Have you seen Coda?
No, I've not. No.
Oh, it won the Academy Award for Best Picture, Coda. CODA, Children of Deaf Adults. I think that's what Coda stands for.
Okay.
Isn't that what Coda stands for? Children of Deaf Adults?
I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
And it won Best Picture. First streaming service movie to win Best Picture. And it is a fantastic movie, Coda.
Julie knows.
Another super chat by Soul. While you're talking TV, watch Players on Paramount Plus.
Players on Paramount. Okay.
It's like a League of Legends spoof from the American Vandal guy.
Oh, okay.
League of Legends esports.
Cool. Man, I could do a movie/TV show podcast, man, and talk for
I could.
Absolutely.
I could.
Hours. We have to do one. An Xbox Era presents.
Yeah, when
Someone's
I'm
doing fireworks outside, and all of a sudden, now my dog is losing. They're like, open the door. The dog needs to come in. He needs support in this trying time.
Oh, bless him. Well, look, we're going to wrap things up. 3 hours.
3 hours.
Podcast with us.
Wow.
Damn. But it's been a pleasure having you on, sir.
Yes, thanks for making the time, Joe.
Hanging out.
Likewise,
Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me over at MrBadBit on Twitter. You can find my show over on Twitter at PS Trophy Room. And if you want to listen to the Trophy Room PlayStation podcast, you can find us over on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast service of choice. You can find the Trophy Room there. Please rate us 5 stars. We're doing bunch of cool giveaways, including Last of Us, Remake Part 1 and a God of War one that we're going to announce pretty soon. So
nice.
Go over there. And you can find us on YouTube as well at the Trophy Room Show. So, guys, thank you all for having me. This was a ton of fun today.
Yeah,
Thanks
it was
for jumping on.
It was a fun show. Surprised we went on that long, but there was a lot to talk
And
about.
it gave us an excuse to use the cool blue theme that I really like. It's nice.
We like the theme. So much love to all of our community that have been hanging out and watching in the chat. You guys are awesome as always. Big thumbs up to you. Much love. Have a good weekend. What's left of it.
Yes.
And we will see you next time.
Go Pies. Ciao for now.